Okay, let's hit the recording. Here we go. All right. This is GKG putting up a Mythcast. We're here with LSO and Asmo. Well, let's go one at a time. Asmo, say hello to everybody so that everybody knows your voice.
Hello, I'm Asmodian. I am the captain of Manbowski.
LSO.
Well, I'm Lord Scarial, and I'm the captain of the men in impeccably immaculate tights.
Excellent. Yeah, so we're gonna go through the MWC 24 finals that we just played, and as you can see, we got. Although Asmo is not technically the captain of the team, like in-game captain, but he's the one who did the strats for his team. Ellis and I both did the strats for our team. I did most of it, but we do it together pretty much. So
okay, I did most of it all tournament.
Yeah,
then we did it together at the end.
That's true. You did most of it all
there we go. You did most of it as a false statement. You did a lot of the last 2 weeks.
For this match, I'm just saying for this match. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, for the first half of the tournament, I had a bunch of free time, was able to do all the strats, but I got pinched for time at the end, and GKG stepped in and was able to help with a lot of the main stratting.
The point is, we have all the relevant people here when it comes to the strats, so we can do like a proper analysis of the match, right? So,
correct. I do have a question though, Asmo. Although you did write the strategies, and I assume you're doing a lot of the calls in game, what was the decision making for putting Wayward One in as the game captain about halfway through the tournament?
I mean, you can probably tell from the films you saw from us until we played you guys in the upper bracket finals, like we looked like we were a freaking mess. I felt like I was trying to wear too many hats at the same time, so I wasn't captaining well, and I was playing bad, so we made the change, try something else different for the top bracket finals, and it seemed to work out better, so we rolled with that.
Yeah, and I
just felt like he could.
Go ahead. I agreed with it, the call at the time, because I've been in that same position, right, where I don't know if I like deliberately gave up the capping spot per se, but it's different. Like it's different being in your position. So I agreed with the call at the time, and yeah, it did work out for the top bracket finals match. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, yeah, it did work out for that match, but I was just wondering the thinking behind it. I mean, if you're making all the strategies and the callouts, what's the difference in handing out units at the same time? It's kind of just what I was thinking. But if Wayward One was fine with it, then if it worked, it worked. So.
Well, that was something that was a little bit different. I've never done before because even though he was captaining, he was handing all the units to me, and I was doing the splits and like taking the white damage and stuff like that. So I had to get like the splits right, or else it just made things confusing, because I can't just take a unit back for myself. I have to ask him to do it for me.
So then, really, what was he doing other than just trading and grabbing units here or there throughout the game?
Yeah, so basically that I did, and I feel like it worked really well in the top bracket final, is, I have the initial strat wrote up, get people in the directions they're going, and he can make like in-game adjustments within the strat we're already doing, like redistribute units and stuff, so I can focus in on Trow or whatever unit I'm controlling, and not have to redistribute in-game. That's sort of the idea behind it.
Okay.
Another question.
I was just curious.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is good context for this match before we kind of get into the games. I have another question for Asmo. What percentage of the strategic effort would you say was yours versus kind of everybody else's on the team? Adren said it was a group effort. I'm under more of the impression that you did almost all of it, but what would you say?
Probably like 90% me, and then 10% feedback, and we go from there. Like there were some certain things where it was more team oriented. Like for example, a game we'll get to later. The sudden death pick you guys picked, I forget the name of it, but I had all the Trow and 9 fetch on it. That one was more like a team. Yeah, that one was more like a team. That was the most team-oriented strat I'd say we came up with. Everything else was me for the most part, and then people giving their input based on what I put out.
I think it's kind of reflected in it too, because
You cut out.
That might have been
also.
one of the weaker ones.
You cut out
did
right
I?
there.
Well, it might happen a couple times. My Discord's not the greatest right now, but I said I think that it's kind of reflected in that strategy too. Too many cooks in the kitchen. I think that was one of the weaker strats. I think the ones that you were putting most of the effort in were better than that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll give my opinions on the things as we go through the maps. I don't want to talk about them
Yeah,
all right
jump
now.
too far
So
ahead.
this
Okay,
last
yeah,
one.
yeah, we'll cover it more as we
Yeah,
get
yeah,
there.
we
All
can
right,
start with
let's
this one.
start with this one. Let's wait for the trades. I'm gonna fast forward to the trades happening, and then I'll pause again.
Yeah, we're both paused in 1 second.
Oh, at 1 second. Gotcha. Okay, let me fast forward
Yeah.
there. All right. Okay, so I'm there now too. So all right. So looking at the trades. So we went just 2 Morts and the rest Mauls. Tro and Merc being max is kind of like almost default for everybody on this. So the only real difference is in like the Mort, everything else, right? So we just did 2 Morts and Mauls, and you've seen us do this strat before on like Desert Ruins Flag Rally, which I think we did last match as well. We did this same strat. Although, is that a 5 trower or? I can't remember if it's a 5.
It was. We did this variant last week, but there were also untradeable Brayunar and on one of the maps. I think we did it on another map as well. We've done it at least 3 times.
There's a pattern that we do the strat on, and this happens to be one of them. So Asmo, I see you guys got more arty and some souls. What was your guys' kind of plan behind this?
So my thinking is, I feel like your team has a major advantage in terms of players who are on trial. And so sort of our whole idea when trialing against Stu, one of the games doesn't turn out that way later in this match, but we don't want to match trial even for even. So if you go 3-2, we want to go 2-2-1. We always want to be split more than you because we don't want a straight up trial fight. We want to spread out the map and like be like a rubber band, make someone make a decision.
Okay, and you guys end up doing like is it fair to say a 3-prong, right? Because there's 3
Yeah,
split
we do
Yeah.
3-prong.
It's like 2 north, 2 mid, 1 east. So a bit of an offset with a 1 weaker side.
Yeah, and our plan here was also a 3-prong, but it was I just describe your strat as more like almost a symmetric 3-prong. So I like to sometimes I look at strategies in terms of their symmetry, and yours is like a lot more symmetrical. Ours is a 3-prong as well, but asymmetrical. So we only have 2 split tro, and we end up throwing a Merc pack on the weak side. And this is another common pattern that we do. I'm going to explain just like everything that we do, just throwing out all the fucking secrets out there so everybody can just learn whatever they can from it. Yeah, so this is a pattern that we do a lot as well. Again, Desert Ruins was the other big example. So we have a weak Merc pack that we like to give to Ephemeral because he's real smart with these types of roles. And
yeah, they're really great on those lone flank rolls, goal packing, anything where position and melees like central. Ephemeral kind of shines there.
yeah, and the general plan for us is to do like we got our 2 strong fronts, so 1 mid and 1 in the south. It's going to end up being, and those 2 flanks are mostly symmetrical, split evenly. Except for one's got an extra tro. And the general idea here is to like put the Mauls on offense and just have the Mort sit behind them. We always like to set up what we call tro arty pushes, where we have, and this is why we split our tro a lot, is so that we can set up, we can find like one front that, you know, we're happy usually to have one flank disadvantaged in the tro fight if the other flank can set up these really effective tro arty pushes, because there's a really great synergy there between arty and tro, right? If you use the tro to basically force their enemy melee to clump up and to turn around and try and, you know, the tro can get them to turn around. It makes it very difficult for them to run away, and then just kind of like bait them into the Mort shots, right? Or they're forced to spread out and get really effective tro kicks. And so that's the synergy there that we try to set up with these tro, split tro and always having arty with the tro. That's always key. And so the morts here, their role here is not to arty fight. The morts are not there to try to engage with your guys' arty at all. They are there to just force your merc to spread out to make the melee less effective, right? That's all they're there for.
Yeah,
So our strategy is really built around GKG finding a flank and pushing with his 3 tro usually, and then the units there just to support it. So mostly you'll see me on the defensive side and GKG on the aggressive one. And it generally works out that way, where we just try to set up a hammer anvil, a push and pin, a flank.
Yeah,
It falls back and defends while.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'll finish. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, in hindsight, I wouldn't have traded for Lux here at all. I do sort of like the souls for what we were planning, because like I said, we wanted a 3-prong, and we figured we were going to do a 3-2 trowel split. So we wanted one trowel free somewhere. We figure wherever you overload the trowel, like on my side, I end up getting more trowel. The souls can help on that side, so you don't just get to freely push me around. But I feel like the locks, I haven't even seen the match, but I feel like the locks probably got no value here in hindsight.
I would agree. I would agree with you perfectly. Yeah.
They got one shot on me when Paris blocked me, but
it's like one of those shots that, you know, statistically you can't rely on them, right? When you're trading.
Just in that situation, Paris kind of got in my way, and they got. What's up?
Oh, you're cutting out again, also. But yeah, I would agree with you.
Man,
Asmo.
I'm sorry. I really apologize.
It's all good. I would agree with you, Asmo. I don't like locks on these FR, like these Tro FR type games, right? Like, because you can just block them all day. You can block those shots all day with either Tro or Mauls or whatever, or even Morts, and they're just hard to really push and get there. The game these games tend to happen super fast, right? Like it's gonna hit the victory imminent, and you're gonna get like pushed off the flag. They're not very good like rush defense or anything because they're easily blocked. So. Yeah. The souls, I see what you're going with your idea with the souls, because you split the tro. You kind of like you're trying to bait our tro into your souls on one side, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Ends up not working out that way.
I think it could be.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say I think it could be viable to no warlocks and still get a couple of soulless for that purpose, that tro defense. Especially if you're gonna split the tro up the way you did, helpful to fight against the overloaded tro. But I think the main weakness on a tro flag rally is the warlocks. They're just too slow and points consuming.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was a worthless unit, and the souls were supposed to go mid, but be more towards the east side, since that was our one trail side, which we would figure would be outnumbered by trail. But I don't know. I think you still push this around. I don't really think it's not the push at all.
All right.
It's too much melee to deal with.
Are you guys ready to start this game?
Do it.
All right. I'll do 3, 2, 1, go, and we'll start on go. Okay. So 3, 2, 1,
okay.
Go. All right.
Game.
And we're off to the races.
So yeah, I think also maybe I'll have to see how it plays out again, because during the game I was mostly focused on my half the.
Me too.
Map.
I did not see what happened on
Soulless. With your idea for the Soulless, if you're wanting them to support that weak tro, then it might have been a better idea just to start them with the single tro, because even with melee, 2 tro can usually kind of hold their own, especially in some of these chokes versus 3 tro. So it might be something to consider, putting that Soulless pack with the single tro from the get-go. But mid is probably the safest option, because then they can move out. But yeah, there was also some miscommunication or calls here at the start. I thought someone said 1 tro north, and there ended up being 2. So I had to double back myself there.
That was probably me. I think I said that. Yeah, so that's my bad.
I think I heard 1 tro north, so I thought, okay, Ephemeral can back up real easily and kind of kite that. But then I saw Adrenaline's 2 tro come around. It's sort of a more panic mode when I realized I was 2 against 4.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. You definitely handled a huge tro deficit, because I had 3 tro.
Enormous. Yeah, we kind of had a real sloppy retreat too.
As soon as I saw those 3 trolleys, I'm telling the Dread on the west side, you are free. You're playing the flag game ASAP, because this is game's on a timer now.
Yeah.
Like I knew my whole job was to stall and come down the wire, whoever wins the flag game.
And I knew I had to do the
Adrenaline did go super aggro straight off the bat. So
the souls need to be with me right now, like 100%. They need to be behind my trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of just floating in between nobody.
Right now.
Yeah, the souls were not there with you at all.
And here I'm calling our mid to back up, like, out of the choke, and I just, they're not. we're getting caught in this choke right here. Ratking's getting some free kicks, but...
Yeah, in the south, I'm trying to get our Mort engaged so I can set up a Troarty push on you guys. I don't want to I don't want to just go in hard and rush because I'll take more damage than I need to. So I'm trying to go a little bit more efficient, but that's slowing me down, and that's why Adren's able to move a little faster than I am on the opposite side. So, but here I'm calling our Maul guys to just go straight in. So that's Shad, he's going straight in. You guys
see down here, GKG overwhelms this flank by a large percentage, and again, it's also mirrored on the north.
Yeah.
Where
I'm looking at Ratking. I think he probably needs to break off from that fight right now and play the flag game on the east side.
Yeah, there's no
exactly.
He's not. Yeah, there's no flags where he's at right now. He needs to get to where flags are. I end up tagging the southeast and holding on to it, which I knew was going to be crucial to hold us onto the end game. We end up taking a bad fight here. Yeah, LSO. Yep, that was a bad fight. Yep. Yeah.
I'm telling. If you have to hear the comms. You have to hear the comms. I'm telling Paris to run for like minutes now, and we're getting caught and choked. I'm trying to keep the pro from getting free kicks, but it's just like I said, sloppy retreat.
So our northeast was pretty sloppy. I don't think our northeast should have collapsed and died as fast as it did too. Yeah, you took another kind of nasty shot. Well, that was F there. Took that shot, but yeah, we're kind of like.
Yeah, I'm thinking you guys won at this point. To be honest,
that wasn't me.
We don't have that southeast flag with.
Like I said,
we're gonna get at the start for sure.
Yeah, I'm going back to defend it while we're almost at your homes right now.
And like I said, comms are kind of important to understand what's happening from both teams. There are several situations here where I'm telling people to do something, and it's just kind of a slow response to do it. I felt the need to try to save their units.
Say again, Asmo?
Why did you pull a trowel away from the big fight on our last flag defense?
Because I knew time was of the essence. I had to tag it. I knew our Mauls could handle your last tro, and your tro was stuck there trying to contest that flag.
Yeah.
So I knew time was of the essence. And you'll see my tro run right past your flag 4, too. I don't even bother with those 2 merc because I know that the 2 tro behind would grab it. So it's a little decisions like that.
Yeah, it's all about time right here.
Yeah, those little decisions it just made up like 10 seconds right there, which ended up mattering the game, deciding the game, right? So
I'm surprised I held this flag GKG, from these walls.
I'm sitting here calling. We got 1 minute, maybe tops, till they take our last flag.
Yeah, I knew time was of the essence.
That's exactly what he did. Is he did. We got a couple good Mort shots too from our Mort players hitting some mercs, which.
If that Mort was defended, by the way,
now right here
with you guys on that flag D, you guys would have been able to hold that flag a little bit better too. You know what I mean? Like it was off to the side.
Like I said, all the retreat and defense was very sloppy, poorly coordinated defense with some miscommunication and people getting in the way of others. We did our best to hold off the attack as
probably
real sloppy from us.
Had to happen a little bit cleaner was like just the retreat quicker and get right on top of defending a flag immediately. Yeah.
It looks like it took us about 30 seconds to get that last flag. So
yeah,
you guys have about like a 30-second lead on the flag game.
Looking at the stats,
all we had to do was delay, and I could have danced there for a second on that flag if needed.
That's true. Probably got another 10 seconds.
Yeah, and I also think
I could have probably gotten more time on that flag if needed, but
yeah, like it was kind of sloppy the way we took hits earlier too. Those 2 merc shots on the merc and stuff like that. So I think also
like
what I might have done
Small's got in the way.
What I might have done is just go straight into the northeast corner and just with everything and just hold on to that flag with the high ground and keep your Mort alive. I think you would have held out longer from doing it that way.
Yeah, probably. It's all happening very quickly too. Trying to make these decisions split second as well.
Yeah. So looking at the stats real quick, the damage was pretty even across the teams. Percentages were pretty even. I mean, this was like it was just a flag trade, right? this is when you get into these flag trade situations, that's where the heavier melee trade is going to be advantageous, right? Because it just takes longer to grind through the meat of that melee, and that's what kind of ended up helping us in this situation, I think.
Yeah. Even though I let Paris's Mauls get kicked, it took time for your team to kick them. You know?
Right. Anybody else
Just
have any
an
comments
example.
before we wrap this game up?
No, I think this one is a fairly straightforward. You're rushing to tag flags, all heavy melee, very small map, so it's a very quickly played out map. Everything's happening. I think we kind of went over the main strategy from the get go. Yeah, in terms of actual like BC fighting, like a 1 kill difference, same losses, 7 damage difference. It just came down to being able to tag first.
Right.
So where the difference was made.
All right, cool. Asmo, you got anything?
So on the game 2.
Not really. Just definitely shouldn't have got locks. I feel like if we had all those points in the balls, maybe it makes it a time difference. I don't think a 40-second difference, which is realistically how much faster we need to be, but I feel like it would have been closer.
Yeah, and I just don't think the souls. Yeah, the souls.
They didn't get value that game.
Yeah, they
didn't
don't
work
give
out there
because you guys know how our team views this stuff, and you know that we're gonna try and ignore your souls as much as possible. You know what I mean? So, and souls are just really ineffective for pushing things off of flags, which is what you kind of need. So, yeah.
I mean, I think souls are one of those units that just there's not a lot of situations where they do hold a lot of value. There's some maps where they're really good, and some game types prefer over others.
They have
but
specific use cases, yeah.
Generally saying, I think solos are not really worth the points in most cases.
Yeah,
Melee is kind of a king unit.
Yeah, on Flag Rally and King of the Map, melee tends to be king. Yeah, in general. So.
There's
of course, it depends on the game type.
There's too much movement on those game types. Those souls can't stay in the position they need to because we're off running for flags and they're getting left in the dust, and then they can't take quick pass because you're running into melee and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
I mean, on territories or something, artillery is a little bit better, but.
Yeah. Let's load up the next game.
I'm on second game.
Okay.
I'm on 1 second left. Anytime, game 2.
Okay. I'm loading up to 1 second left, and then we'll look at the trades again real quick.
And this is one of those maps that is a map where Solus is a miss. It's just I'll wait on y'all to catch up, but this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and Asmo, you said you kind of knew that this was something that Adren wanted, so you got some. I mean, it's only 6 souls at least. It's not like an enormous amount of souls, but.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming. Let me look at your trade. I'm assuming it is what I think it is. Yeah, you just got the same trade, but you put all the soul points in the throw, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what I knew the trade was. Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. It's like, to me, that makes sense. That's the best trade. I did tell Adrian, like, I'll get you the soul.
If you're really pushing for it, but you better maximize that damage, or we're just gonna lose the tag game at the end.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize that Adren had souls too. So you kind of took one of your better players out of the fight in a sense too on this game, because he.
Of course, he's going to be the one pressuring for him. Too, he's going to be the one asking for him.
I do think your idea was very similar. Like you had the idea right. Obviously, there was a reason you got the souls, but like I like how you didn't go dwarfs because like it's just too hard to defend them, right? And there's too much pus on the map; they'll get picked off. That's what I was.
Way too many flags. So if you delay time at the end game. Dwarves are very bad in game. They're good early and mid game, but.
The only use for a dwarf here would be if you could trade for more goals than what max plus is, and that's not the case on this map.
One thing I'll mention, Asmo, is if you were going to get souls like you did, that's actually a case where I would have gotten 1 dwarf because there's a synergy between having some either souls or archers and then like dwarf and some melee to like it ends up being like a little bit of a BC force unto itself. It's kind of slow moving, which is kind of the problem with it, but the souls would help defend the dwarf a little bit. So I might have actually put a dwarf in this if we were already going to get the souls. So
Yeah, but I mean, the comment that you made was that you were hoping that the Solus could do some damage, but they're so easily avoidable with this unit set that they're not going to achieve that for you by the time the end game rolls around. And your team committed to a melee at some point, way away from them too. So they just weren't in any good. They're too slow. They can't get into position anywhere. Easily avoidable. So although if you're stuck against Solus, they can do a decent amount of damage against warriors and goals and everything. The problem is that just very avoidable. Run around them all day.
So as far as strats, I think our strat was just kind of like 3-prong and run the timer out until like the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, and then go for flags. We don't really care about flags until then. What was your guys' plan, Asmo?
So yeah, ours wasn't that. It's because we got the souls. We were gonna jugger our whole team towards Midis/north, with the exception of sinking our thrall the south side of the opposite side, so we have something there. The idea behind that is, I mean, we know you're trying. We know you have more thrall for late game, so we need these souls in the fight ASAP, and so we want the souls to be able to push down the melee support and not get stuck by 2 sticks. So our plan was BC for until 6 minutes, the north, and hopefully get some BC lady with the soul kicking out stuff. And then 6 minutes, we start playing the flag game. So this map's massive for light units, so you can't wait till 3 minutes. You're screwed if you wait that long.
I agree with that plan, given the constraint that you have souls. It makes sense. Yeah, it totally makes sense. And that makes sense how you guys were playing it in game, as we're about to see, not to spoil it, but you guys were definitely looking for a fight on against us, and we were looking to run the timer out, right? Like it was clearly what both teams were trying to do. You guys good to start?
We can go ahead and hit go on it, or is there something else you want to?
No, I think that's it. All right, I'm gonna do down. 3, 2, 1, go again. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Game on.
All right. So game 2, the grand finals here. This map, very large, it's an enormous amount of flags. I didn't count, but it's somewhere between like 18 and 20. So just very hard to have, have everyone focusing on them at the end game.
For people watching,
very hard. A territories map where you can got a chunk of the map. Secure it. This is literally Drowned Empire, but larger, pretty much, and less those Soul Hills mid. So
I couldn't hear you, Asmo. I don't know if you can speak up into the mic a little bit more, but
I think his mic switched back or something.
Yeah,
it got a little fuzzy like here.
That,
yeah. So for starters,
a little bit.
We did like
you're a little quiet still. I can turn you up. Should I just turn you up in Discord?
Sure.
You can do that. Yeah. So yeah, your team is juggernauting the center here with some throw on the south, and you see we have a very even spread across the map. We have a little bit more north than anywhere else, but not by maybe by 15%. So not a super considerable amount. And we're just playing for scouts here at the start. See what develops first before we make any calls. A very reactive strat from us. Of course, at some point, we're going to have to take a fight. Say that again?
So I figured you guys were going to do a 3-prong because that's pretty much what GKG's been doing on D for the longest time. It's a 3-prong on this map.
Captured.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it just makes the most sense, I think. I mean, the mid-jugger can work on other game types. I think like King of the Map or something would be a decent one for a mid-jugger. Because you see very, very quickly your team takes over control a lot of the map, a considerable part of the map very early. And so for something like King of the Map, it's a very good strategy to just hit jugger the mid, take control, and then you have pretty good map control. But territories, there doesn't need to be anything super decisive super quickly.
So in general, the faster your unit trade is, which it will be faster if you have a max fast melee trade, right? And it's like pretty heavy relative to the rest of the units on the map. The faster your army can be, the safer it is to be more spread out, and that's what supports those 2 prongs like that. So
flag captured. Flag.
The souls are just getting no value. I mean, I know it's early, but they're not even in position to get any value right now.
Right here where I am in front of those Solus, I can just run away from them all day. And that's what I did. Just ignore them. So, like, if I were to take this fight, it would definitely beat me. I'd not force you whatsoever based on the units I have.
Yeah, so right now in the north, I can sense that you guys are being really aggressive, and it seemed like to me you're trying to set up a pinch on potentially our north or middle, because your mid's being super aggressive, your north's being super aggressive. So I'm telling F to back up, and we got a sunk thrall right there to like protect us. So if anybody wants to take a melee engagement, that's what we're gonna use to protect us.
Now, north right now.
Yeah, it ends up happening later in the north, but not
Gotcha.
yet.
Flag lost.
Yeah, I feel like for us, like, we have to know that you have lots of thrall everywhere based on the difference in trade. So sure, we can look for the BC fight, but we can't take those fights near deep water because you know those thrall are popping up and then you're just winning the melee fight.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not to spoil, but that is what your team ends up doing exactly right there on that thrall pack. So
Flag captured.
it's a difference between theory and actuality.
And Asmo, let's see where you're at, because you said you weren't really coordinating that. Nobody said anything on that north side.
All I have is
What did you keep this game, Asmo?
I just have 2 buffs. I'm in
Oh,
the
Asmo, I would have
southwest
given
right
yourself
now.
a more important role on this.
See,
I know,
you traded
wanted
your
to be on
positions with
Holy
Wayward One. So
Yeah,
Wayward
I know.
One's captaining, and I think the idea behind that is he can take smaller. He could take that unit set as the. Yeah, if you're going to do this and he's going to trade in, then you can take a percentage of that melee.
Yeah, so sort of what happened is Thal wasn't supposed to be here. We figured out last night he was going to be here, so I was trying to fit Thal in and putting him on unit sets that he likes.
I
So
see. You didn't want to like redraw your.
I mean, Thal has 17%.
Redraw your strats too much.
Monty has 18%. Those are pretty big squads. Like, you look at our team. I mean, I guess also has 19, but.
Including like journeymen on the home and some like defense thrall usually have a larger percentage. I think I was an extra goal or something somewhere, so usually have a little bit larger percentage because I have like the backup captain units. But otherwise, I think what you could do, Asmo, is 17, 16 on Mark, 18 on Monty. If you just took like 1 or 2 melee from each of them, now you have a bit of more of an impactful melee force.
And Asmo, you got to position yourself to be like more central on the map so that you can help call stuff out. Like I don't know where your force is, but it seems like it's
right here near Paris. I just traded a Puskull for him. The whole reason behind this is because our whole plan's at 6 minutes we need to tag. I hit F7, and I noticed our souls are mid, and nothing's got a no BC advantage. So at this point, I realized for any chance for us to win, we have to make aggressive moves that might not be the best percentage-wise, or otherwise we're just going to slowly lose the game, though.
So your north is now moving into position to try and pinch our north. And did anybody call that at all, or what?
So I think
on your team,
Sal talked about doing something aggressive north, so there was some communication about it, but I didn't know what happened until I hit F7, maybe like a minute later, and just noticed we were like 20% or something.
I mean, I guess in a sense, if you couldn't see our thrall, like it does look like F and I are going to be pinched really bad, but really we're just trying to bait you guys into our thrall.
Ooh, yeah, this is looking bad just looking at it right now.
Yeah. I saw Monty moving north. I'm a little slow behind him because I was far away, but I am shadowing him right there.
Shad does a great job getting his thrall in the fight at the perfect time. And now we got Puss like coming up behind you guys like pretty badly.
Yep. I saw him coming here pinching your pinch, and F does a good job of not fighting till Shad gets committed.
Great job reinforcing us in the north here. That was perfect.
Yeah, like I said, I saw Monty moving, and I started just to follow. Yeah, here it just becomes a chaotic. You can't really tell who's who in the water melee fight, and that's really not the.
And you see how much pus they have to spend on our thrall. You know what I mean? Like they just threw like 3 pus into our thrall, I think.
So we actually did a good fight in the
right here. So.
Oh, you guys did a good fight in the south on Paris.
Well, yeah. So this is why I'm surprised. So we took this fight in the south. I was like, okay, here's our chance to get the BC advantage and finally get something. But then I hit F7 after we finished with the good fight, and like. Then I noticed you guys crushed us north, and like, yeah, it's pretty much done.
It's Rat against Paris.
And see about that fight. That fight, I did tell Paris to run away.
Paris took a really bad push shot there. It even hit his stakes too. He was way too clumped. Hit 6 melee with 1 push.
Flag captured.
Lost
This
3
is a
warriors in
phenomenal
that.
player and has some really great moments, but I had a couple issues with him this tournament about just being in some bad positions. And that's one of them. I'm telling him to run away, and there's fights being taken that don't need to be taken.
That shouldn't have. That kind of made it a little bit closer. Although we still are a solid lead right now. So
Yeah,
but
I think there's no way if
But
you
yeah, we
guys
got-
lose the game right now unless if someone just absolutely just does something horrible.
yeah, unfortunately, the game
See-
is kind of over already. From that, it was decided out by that North
Yeah,
fight.
and even if you want to compare percentages, still Adrenaline has 13% in Solus and a single Stygian. So
I do see that
those
one of his
Solus are
6
never
souls has 1 kill.
Contested.
So he did get a kill, Asmo.
Flag captured.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
part of
with
the
damage,
yeah.
okay.
Flag.
His ratios are good.
So
but
here-
you gotta get 20 plus.
Flag contested.
You gotta.
Contested.
You have to be able to.
Flag
You forced a fight, but not near the Solus, and that was
Flag
the
captured.
mistake there with the forcing the fight and getting the Solus combination.
Flag lost.
Yeah, at this point, we're
Flag.
looking
Yeah,
to
see-
put Stigs on your souls to kind
Flag
of bottle them up.
captured.
And
That's exactly what I'm doing right there.
Yep.
He can't do anything against my 4 Stigs. He's stuck on that hill. That's 13%,
Flag
12% of your army stuck.
Flag lost.
The rest of this game is just
So
kinda
we
like
have
whittling you
basically
guys
double
down
your
at this point.
percentages.
Flag captured. Flag contested. Flag captured. Flag contested.
So, fight north.
Flag
It looked
contested.
like initially like y'all had a good position, but those
Flag
sunk they're
lost.
all made a big difference, and the fact that I was able to shadow Monty made a big difference.
Our
If
pussing
you
was
in
just better too.
theoretically here, if you did not trade Solus, theoretically if you didn't get Solus, you would get more Thrall, and you could
Flag
bring them on the
captured.
offense there. It would be more of a
Flag
even
contested.
fight, but
Flag
The
lost.
other-
It's
to
a
say.
50-50 game if we do max throw here.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would have been a much closer game. The
Flag
other thing I would
captured.
say, not just
Flag.
I mean,
Yeah, if you're gonna
Asmo,
go so
clearly you had the
aggressive
right
like
idea,
that-
but
Flag
you guys,
contested.
you had the right idea, Asmo. But just to
Flag.
anybody
I think if
listening
you're gonna
to this, if
Flag
you go
captured.
no souls and you have the max thrall, right? Then the game timer is on your side, right? And then you're not worried about having to
Flag
set up this
captured.
aggressive play, having to
Flag
try and figure out
contested.
a way to pinch through deep
Flag
water on the enemy
captured.
side of the map, which is in general a terrible idea. I mean, what if we had a sunk white?
Flag
You know what I mean?
contested.
You're putting your team in danger,
Flag
right?
captured.
So
Flag
Mhm.
contested.
and if you're gonna go for
Flag
that
captured.
Solus, you're trying to get a bunch of damage with your Solus. It might be honestly be better to commit to more Solus and none of those Thrall that aren't in the fight at all.
Flag
If you're
lost.
trying to force that fight, but I think either way, yeah, the Solus are a miss
contested.
on this game type and map combination.
Flag contested.
I mean, we had like a
Yeah, so here
that's
kind
the
of
flag advantage going into the late game, but it just didn't
Flag
matter.
captured.
You guys' setup was better. Obviously, they were
Flag
able to fall out of
captured.
water when the game time gets low.
1 minute remaining.
yeah, and like GKZ said at the start, we weren't trying to push for all those flags in that great map position. So yeah, really there at the beginning when you had like 18 flags to our I don't know 6 or whatever, you could have just held your great position and made
Flag
us push you
contested.
at the end.
that would have been.
But
another
instead,
idea.
your team with a huge
Flag
flag advantage
contested.
committed a fight. Generally, whenever you have that team
Flag
type advantage, you
contested.
just want to play the defensive.
Flag
You had their
captured.
position to
Flag
set up, and we
lost.
would have been forced to push into
Flag
you somewhere to set up an attack. But
I
your
get
team
it.
got really
That's the change
aggressive.
we should have made based
30
on
seconds
what we did.
remaining.
Of course, we
Flag
would have been looking to
You had,
dive,
like, 3
dive into your backfield somewhere, and we probably would have been partially successful doing so. But at least, yeah, it would have been closer at least.
Flag captured. Flag captured.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but yeah, you have that
Flag
huge flag lead. It's better just to hold on to it.
Flag contested. Flag lost. Sudden death.
I also would have liked to seen your souls
contested.
in with your north fight. Like they
Flag
weren't there.
lost.
They could at least.
Flag.
They would have actually.
Yeah,
got
that's
a
what
lot
I
of
was saying.
damage while that
Need
fight
to
was
be
going
part-
on.
Contested.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
A
I
couple minutes ago, if you're gonna
Adren should have been all
Go
over
ahead.
positioning himself to be with that north push there. Yeah.
I think Adrenaline reported
Yes.
his perspective and hopefully has the team voice on it. 'Cause that's what I want to see how the voice lines up with what happened in games.
Flag contested.
Yeah, like I said,
I mean,
last match, comms are pretty important to understand what's
So the
happening.
souls get pushed with them, so they wouldn't be stuck on a hill mid or something like that.
Flag lost.
I said a couple of minutes ago, if you're going to force that fight, you want to do it on top of the Solus so they can just throw spears into frozen melee.
Yep,
And melee that are fighting can't really dodge spears. So if you're going to get Solus, you want them to be like fulcrum of the fight. You want everyone committed around them so they can get their damage value. That you see, you're paying 18 points for that. Doesn't sound like a lot, but you got 10 points of damage from it or something. Just didn't play out how you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, they end up with 11 damage.
Game.
That was pretty crucial, actually. The fact
Here,
that
I mean,
were not there. Yeah, that was crucial.
So Adrenaline got 11 points of damage with those Solus. I mean, it's not 5 and 2. It's not bad. It's like it's as good as you could probably do in that situation with those Solus. But they're not going to pump out the numbers you want.
Some of that damage was after the game was already
Ephemeral with an
decided,
amazing melee in the north. Yeah, GKG and Ephemeral putting out
yeah, we had some big
60 damage,
we-
61
we-
damage
we-
out of
we-
100.
yeah.
Yeah, it was GKG and Ephemeral in the north. Shad was the sunk thrall, and then I was the melee coming in to support the fight. So, front of it was
Asmo, did you heal whites on this?
It was on GKG and Ephemeral,
No, I feel like White's more of a gimmick on this. I just feel like it's too big. I think people are expecting White enthralls in water, so people aren't going to be aggressive with blade towards the deep water. That's sort of my thought.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, there's
I wasn't asking about sunk whites. I was asking about did you heal them because you had negative 15 damage.
Oh, so if you look at my stats for this, the finals, it's going to look horrible because even though I'm not captain, I'm getting all the white damage in all these games.
Okay, that stinks.
Yeah. Next time, you let Wayward One keep the whites. Let him keep the whites.
Asmo, I really feel like you just didn't give yourself a squad to do much
of anything. At 2+ and 6 thrall. I mean, I feel like
that's
like it didn't work, but I would have loved to be on a way pack. I was supposed to be, but again, I switched up with
Asmo, you have to understand when you're the person doing all that effort in the strats, you like automatically add like almost like 1 or 2 balls to yourself in terms of value in the game. Because you've like mentally loaded up the whole strat and everything. You've done way more, like put way more thought into the game than anybody else, right? That's just showing up and playing. So you have to give yourself an important role, even if you're not like the top tier BC player on your team. I always look, if I were you, I'd be looking to give myself some kind of roaming melee pack near the middle, or probably near the middle, so that you can see more of the map. And you can like look. You'll be able to put yourself in a position where you can look around the map more, and then it'll help you to be the shot caller too, right?
Yeah, something I've seen over the years, and something especially my team wanted me doing like 2020 is there's this like idea that captains have to keep like a very small percentage of the units and just kind of shot call and stuff. Yeah. But I think it's more valuable to give yourself an active unit set in the strategy, something that is going to make a difference. And I have a question real quick. Like, in terms of communications comms on your team, the voice chat, is everyone pretty active in it? Or is there a certain few people that make calls above the others? Just as a curiosity about your team in this match.
I feel like it's me and Dantski doing the most of the talking. And then, I mean, there's a little bit of... Really? Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit from everyone. I feel like me and Dantski, and then obviously
people making calls like...
What's up?
You cut out.
Sorry, there's also a difference too between, some people. I'm sure there's some people making calls like, "Hey, this is here. I'm doing this." But in terms of shot calling, people trying to coordinate efforts on the map. Who's the main voice there, trying to say, "Let's do this. Let's pinch this." These shot calling effects.
I mean, I'm the main shot caller usually. Not that I want to be like the only person calling stuff, but I usually am the most vocal person.
I'll tell you.
So you don't have you don't have many other.
I mean, it varies. I mean, there's people that give input on stuff, and for sure, like I feel like in the top bracket finals, we had our best communication, like bar none, which I feel like we look the best we have at this point. And I was hoping to be the same today. There was a lot of people talking, trying to figure out things, but I feel like it was less so like clear calls, like we need to do this now to win the game,
Mm. Okay, I was just curious because that plays into who you're giving what kind of units. Because if there are certain people that are making like tactical suggestions, then they need to have really active roles in the strategy. And then, of course, there's always some players that'll make out calls like there's a Tro here, they're about to push us here, stuff like that. I mean, that's very common amongst everybody. Those who are going to make active shot calling decisions need to really have really active roles in the strategy. Is sort of my opinion. So if it's mainly
Yeah.
going to be you, then you're going to need like an active role. That's why generally, like the way we do things, GKG is going to be leading the offense, and I'll be leading the defense in most of our strats because the two of us are going to be more vocal than everyone else, almost combined.
I
So it's
feel
important to keep us in these important roles there.
well. I think that's the advantage that you guys have as a team, which is, I mean, I've heard you guys' voice chat, so I sort of know what it looks like. And you and GKG are like essentially both captains.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
And
it really does work like that, and it's super advantageous.
oh, for sure. I mean, I noticed the difference because old school myth of captain take no units, make all the calls is horrible if you're playing against a good team
Yeah, yep.
that has a bunch of 2, 3 guys that are understanding the whole strategy and making the calls on their side of the map. One dude realistically cannot look at the whole units.
Yeah, I learned that the very first year I captained a, championship level team in 2011. I was like immediately like halfway into the tournament. That's exactly the conclusion I came to too. I was like, I cannot shot call everything. The game moves too fast. Like I would make a call and then 10, 20 seconds later that call would be invalid and then I would have to make another call and it was just I couldn't keep up, right? So what you effectively have to do is you have to find a way to get 2 or 3 co-captains, ideally 3 because you're going to do a lot of 3 prongs, but at least 2, where one person's like controlling middle and another one's controlling the flank, and also like figure out who does better coordinating offense versus defense because those are slightly different skill sets. So like for Elso and I, like Elso is more defensive minded than I am, and I'm more offensive minded. So that's why we tend to take those roles. It just works out better for us that way. And then we have Paris. Paris is like kind of the third co-captain as well. And Paris will use sometimes to like coordinate defense while Elso and I want to do an offense together or something like that. So yeah, having
Paris
3
is pretty
helps
vocal
a
too
lot.
compared to
Yeah.
the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
If needed, sorry, go ahead, Asmo.
I feel like that's something good that I haven't completely thought of. I thought of obviously like the 2, 3 dudes making calls, but like more of an offensive one than a defensive one. That's a pretty interesting idea.
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
know what do you have an idea of what your natural instincts are? Because for me, I tend to see players tend to have more instincts for one or the other. I mean, of course, you can be good at both, but
For me, I feel like aggressive for sure.
yeah, that's good because I would say it's harder to find the more offensive-minded players than the defensive-minded ones. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
So
I mean, and it works out well for
to
us.
coordinate those offenses. Every time I would give yourself a squad that is leading the offensive charge every single time. That's what I would be doing.
And of course, it all starts at the base strategy level. You got to set up a lot of these game types like capture the flag or flag rally or king of the map. You really want main flank that's going to be the offensive flank, and it's good to have a player coordinating that offense. So it's a kind of a focused, very dedicated, specific strategy.
Yeah.
You guys want to start the next
All right.
one?
Loaded up game 3 here.
Okay.
I'm 1 second left on PT. And it's pretty straightforward on strategy. I mean, why did y'all go with the no unit trading heroes map? I'm just curious. This was, for context for those listening, each team picked one map for the series. So this was your team's pick here.
I mean, so I picked this map, but this wasn't our team's pick. This was just part of their regular one. So our actual team's pick, or was this our pick?
This was your pick,
I
yeah.
thought so. But even though you're picking all of them anyway.
Adrena wanted to play it. You wanted to play it not because you thought the unit set was interesting, and I actually do like it, so I had nothing against it.
Okay, so Adrenaline's vote moved forward too. We assumed that your team chose this map because it was very artillery heavy, and we found that your team's advantage was that you have a lot of really good DC players across the
Yeah.
8 players. So we figured you chose this because it forced our teams into pretty much an exactly even artillery fight, and there wasn't a lot of room for making strategies that would be too different. So we assumed you wanted to bring the playing level down to an even level, and then just beat us in the artillery fight.
I mean, I feel like artillery definitely is our advantage, which is why we did choose Barons in the Sun of Death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one applies too for the same thinking. We thought that on both maps.
So what was your guys' plan on? So just so everybody knows, this map was no unit trading or nut, right? So both teams had the exact same trades. There's no variance between them. So the only difference can be in like kind of the strategic planning of directions and squad distributions and things like that, right? So what was your guys' plan, Asmo?
So our plan was to commit a bunch to the arena, ideally secure that early and push you guys off. But I think you guys actually sent more there.
Yeah, the same plan.
When you say arena, you mean the Northeast, right?
Yes, the Northeast. Then everything else was going to go mid. One on one side of the rock and one on the other side of the rock. The one on the side of the rock in the Northeast
Supposed to push up to that wall so that after we won the arena,
that was the plan.
that he could push up and allow them to come to mid from the little road, so you guys can't push up and block it. And then we were going to send a melee pack, regardless, to the very southwest corner to deal with those flags and try to get them back.
Okay, so I will tell you that our strategy was literally identical to your guys' strategy. That's exactly
one difference.
Okay.
You said you have a melee pack in the southwest. We sent our melee pack to the northeast.
Well,
so that was the one.
Didn't you guys have a melee pack in the northeast as well?
We did. We had a east
Okay, I thought you
and
just said
the southwest.
So you had 5 artillery players, 1 Solus pack, and 2 melee packs.
Oh yeah, there was 8 players on this one. Yep.
Yeah, we did APA.
Yeah, I did notice we had a 3v3, I'm pretty sure, in the Northeast, and I thought one of them was a melee pack, but I could be wrong. I'll have to look at it again.
It was a 3v3. We had 2 artillery guys and 1 melee pack guy. Ratking was on the melee pack.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So it was, you did have a melee pack. I'll have to see what the percentages were. I thought they were relatively even, but we might have had it slightly more. It's true. I'm not sure. We'll have to look at it, but yeah, the way we kind of articulated this was, so when we look at King of the Map strategies, there tends to be like a few different patterns that they fall into, and one of them is kind of like bite off one chunk of the map at a time, and then once you kind of consolidate, secure control of that chunk, then you kind of cascade that map control down to the rest of the map, and so that's how we saw this playing out, which is basically the same thing as what you just said. We're looking to push you guys out of the Northeast. As everybody can see, like there's some chokes here, so we want to push. If we can push the opponent into the choke and then just hold the choke, it makes it like very difficult for them to push back in, and also takes them a long time to run around to get back into the fight through to the middle. So that was the same plan pretty much. And then we were gonna have one of our guys, once we get control of Northeast, we're looking to shift, like leave one guy just holding that choke that blocks you guys out, and then everybody else kind of shifts towards middle to reinforce that and start contesting Southwest. So basically the same exact strategy, yeah. And I think the squad distributions are pretty similar as well. They're a little different. Like you, Dave, your soul guy, spiders as well. I almost did that. Then I also had the idea to beef up the melee defense with the spiders for the arty guys middle. So we did that.
Yeah,
otherwise,
I think
pretty similar.
It played out a little bit differently too. You had a dedicated spider pack and we didn't. So your team. Well, we can go ahead and.
Yeah, you ready to start this?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
So what we'll see in the middle here is that spider pack. I don't think it turned out to be a major difference, but the fact that you kept a spider pack instead of distributing them up made the middle play out a little differently.
Yeah, maybe that's what scared our solar off of his hill. I'm not sure.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to like spoil it. Comes up in a minute, but it's exactly what happened. Is y'all were able to take our Solus Hill like way earlier than you should have been able to.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of baffled me how quickly my team retreated from that Solus Hill.
Yeah,
That's why
we sent the spiders with the souls. We thought you guys would try to take our hill.
Flag.
See, we weren't. Yeah, we were all offense northeast, but still between 2 warlocks on either side of that hill, there's no reason that your spiders should have just taken it so quickly. But this is a difficult map for me to. normally as a captain like to pan around and watch what's happening every couple seconds and see what adjustments need to be made and try to check in on players. But it's hard for me to do that when I'm artillery fighting.
Real quick,
It's one of those more
the 3v3 that's happening in the Northeast. I want to count the percentages. So it does look like we did have like maybe 5% more. Yeah, so we did have a percentage advantage there.
Ratking, Mark, and Dantski.
Yeah, Rat.
That's
Mark,
38%.
Dantski, 38 versus our. We had Shad, F, and myself. So that's 21.
It's like 44 or 40.
Flag contested.
40.
Flag captured.
Yeah, I suck at math. 31 plus 41, 44.
Flag
So 44
captured.
versus what was it again?
Flag contested.
35
Flag
versus 44.
captured.
Yeah, I think so.
So like 9%.
It's
More.
about 36%.
36. Okay, so like
Flag
8% more. Yeah.
contested.
Yeah.
Flag
You have all those extra points on the lead
Flag
too.
lost.
The artery is the same.
Flag contested.
Those,
Flag captured. Flag
Say that again?
contested.
yeah. Those spiders was a threat
All the
soul
extra
only
points
if they're
on
in
the
super
arena are
enormous
in the lead.
numbers.
Flag captured.
Oh, for us?
Flag
Yeah.
lost. Flag contested.
Yeah.
I was the only dedicated melee
Flag
guy for our
captured.
team. I see that you guys had an extra. Asmo, you were on the melee in the south,
Flag
so
lost.
yeah, you guys had another dedicated melee pack. I guess it looks like.
Yeah,
Two melee
that kind of
packs.
turned the tide a little bit for Paris.
Again, Asmo, if you like to be coordinating offenses more, I personally would have been Northeast maybe
Flag
for your
captured.
team. Like you should position yourself maybe to coordinate those offenses. Unless you felt that you.
So
did
very
fine.
early here, our team is able to. Looking at the Northeast here,
Yeah,
very
so-
early, our team is able to push your team into that choke. We're
Yeah, so you see now we're getting the plan that we wanted, right? Which is this is exactly what we wanted was to push your guys' team into that choke, and then you have like 36% or whatever just stuck in a choke and out of the fight. So that helped us tremendously.
Yeah, so when I noticed this was happening, I can't remember who it was. Someone made the call north that you have to retreat. I know this means that in the south, I need to get aggressive and start stealing those back flags. We're just going to win the game type.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right here, I was
And
telling
Adrenaline
Shad,
is trying to pinch our north from mid.
Oh, yeah.
I was calling it out that Adrenaline's trying to pinch our north from mid.
which, by the
He
way,
had
I
the
think was
open
a
lane to-
super bad call on Adren's part. I mean, it's super dangerous what he's trying to do there. Because I got a melee pass,
Yeah.
too. I could just like, rush him right off the hill,
mean-
too.
So
To be fair, I mean, go ahead.
there was a voice call in north where he said he was going to do that, but he did notice like immediately that was bad, and so he retracted it like almost immediately within like 5 seconds or so.
Yeah.
Could have worked because I wasn't in a position to be able to stop him. For some reason, their other warlock was able to pressure me. Stop. Like
Right.
I don't know what was happening mid.
Right here in the
An
Northeast,
offset pressure.
I'm being held up trying to help Shad hold this choke because he's not really positioned perfectly the way I want him to be. I wanted him to push the team further downhill,
contested.
but his Mort just doesn't take the high ground fully to push it all the
Yeah,
way
I
off.
think he's a little scared of those two
Yeah.
locks.
So I'm calling F to like help Shad a little bit because Shad's a little scared, I think. And I'm like, because I desperately need to leave the Northeast to help contest flags on the other side of the map at this point.
I'm looking at Shadow right now. I feel like right there, he shouldn't even shoot with this lock ever. You should just like pump fake the shots just to keep them back and never get low mana.
Exactly. You should never drain your mana, your lock of mana, unless it's like super emergency. Yeah, that he didn't play that properly because now the lock's not really any threat while it's out of mana.
Flag.
Okay, so you guys, WWO, he takes the Soul Hill.
So-
I totally missed exactly how that happened, but it looks like he just kind of walked up there.
So Asmo is able to flank real wide and drag Paris away from the fight, really. So Paris is not in the fight at all.
So yeah, he's
So he
not
can't
able to
support the
that.
Solus Hill.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think Wings
They
made
have
the,
to back off.
I think Wings made the right call in retreating. Honestly, he stayed alive.
Yeah, in hindsight, because I couldn't watch it happening in game. In hindsight,
Flag captured.
I think he made the right
yeah,
call. Yeah.
bad position.
I thought we were going to win
And
the
this
game.
now
by the
makes our
setup right
because
now,
they
to
take
be
that
honest.
aggressive position. Yeah, our mid is having to back up. I can no longer contest that flag. Paris loses his flag. We're
Flag.
down on flags here, like by 3.
Flag.
Yeah, I thought we were going to win
Not
the
a
game with the
huge
setup right
advantage.
now.
You thought you guys were going to win the game right here with this setup?
Yeah, well, once Paris pulled back, he had to, but like almost all your stuff is stuck there in the mid, like in one area. And I know you have the arena side, but even with you have the arena side, we're still winning flags at this point, time and flags.
Yeah, but I've only just. It was expected that would happen while I was shifting to the other side of the map, and now I'm just getting into position now, so I'm gonna end up pushing you guys back.
Yeah, now you have this whole southwest area open up to your large
Right.
melee pack. Here, though, I think Paris needs to come back mid and help push with us and let you just deep dive.
Now Dren is actually able
Because
to
we're-
pressure the northeast.
Yeah, I have to back up so
Captured.
Ren can sneak through
Flag
and enter our
contested.
northwest. Live from it, I think. But see, I'm
Flag
calling it here, and
lost.
this is one of those situations I think our comms get a little jammed. Multiple people
Flag
saying things at the same
captured.
time. Our north doesn't really see
Flag
Ren
contested.
pinching them, and they have to back up.
Flag lost.
But it also leaves the
Flag
middle vacant,
lost.
and we're able to push.
Yeah, ideally,
The middle
Shad
now.
should have been able to hold that choke just by himself, and F shouldn't have had to reinforce him. Then F would have been able to hold the
Ideally.
choke on the other side, right? So then Adren would have never been allowed to be up. That's ideally how that would have happened.
But Adren makes a weird decision to just push through into our backfield
Flag
here.
lost.
Yeah, he kind of gets
Bad
trapped.
long range.
That was a bad puss though. Whoever threw that, Shad.
Yeah,
Flag
Chad.
lost.
At this point, how am I running
Yeah.
down? Asmo, I'm running you down.
I get a horrible plus right here. I think I out of it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened. I wasted the plus though.
I think I wasted some pus too. So
Because Adrenaline left, we were able to just swarm mid and win it. Like,
Flag
Uncontested.
right, and yeah, good thing. Like this is actually a pretty high level game, I must say, from both teams.
Flag
I like the back and forth happening across all three fronts, right?
Flag lost.
yeah, but now our
Flag
north isn't really
lost.
like they're letting themselves be pinned.
Flag
Shad is
captured.
in a really bad position between
Flag
two warlocks
contested.
here. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, we unfortunately have already
Oh.
let their northwest force back up into the fight.
Flag
Couldn't hold that
captured.
choke for whatever reason. I really don't understand
Shad-
why
Shad's
they couldn't
dying
hold
here.
that choke. I
Flag
really don't get it.
contested.
But
Flag
Passiveness, not
Flag
being super
contested.
confident in themselves, I think, to hold it.
like you have a lock and a mort on the high ground.
Oh,
If you
bad
hold
dud
it.
from Ephemeral there. That
Flag
hurts.
lost.
I missed it on that camera.
Just a dud on like 4 melee. Yeah.
Yeah, Ratking and me, we know we need to kill you right now.
Yeah, you guys have a big fight here.
Flag state.
Captured.
Yep.
Flag
I fuck up
contested.
here and
So
I'm
we're up by
dying.
8%, but it's so close in terms of time and
Yeah, I
and
got
flags.
three. I
It's
got
just
three
very-
people on me right now. Monty, Rat, and Asmo are all on top of me right now.
Oh, there's a bad plus. Fortunate.
Yeah, and what I should have done was keep running. I don't know why I turned around and fought.
Yeah,
It
I'm
was
surprised you
terrible.
turned around.
Yeah, I should
Over.
have done that.
This is the difference.
Terrible.
In our north, we had underconfidence. In our south, we have overconfidence.
Yeah, I should have kept
Flag
running.
lost.
Yeah, I do the same thing sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I'll kill these suckers, and then I'm dead.
I didn't realize
did-
like how much
yeah.
how badly I was outforced, I guess. But yeah, it was a terrible fight on my part.
Still, even losing that, we're even percentages here.
My Herons were gonna get run down. I should have just let it happen.
Flag captured.
Jack and I managed to push through the mid, but now the soulless
Even percentages,
spiders
even
are
time, even flags, pretty much.
trying to rush me and Dak here in the north.
Flag captured.
But they don't really have a
With a
very
spot-
effective rush force. to
Spider
do it.
rush. No. Spiders. No.
Flag captured. Flag captured.
Well, they do end up getting the rush off. Okay.
Flag lost.
No, they don't. It fails for them.
Oh,
Should
you
have been
saved the
able
Mort.
to.
Oh, brilliant save. Nice. I thought that Mort was gonna die for sure.
They should have been able to, but
Nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, nice. You save it.
Flag
Great play.
lost.
Great play. So
yeah.
now
So it was a good attempt, and if they had gotten us,
Flag.
our northeast looks like it ended up kind of winning, although.
Flag.
Oh, F ends up losing his
Flag
lock right
captured.
there to a Mort.
Flag
That was
contested.
pretty bad.
Flag lost.
That's why our northeast lost.
I lost my lock to a Mort too.
Yeah,
happened to
our
both
northeast
of us
was
this
almost
game.
winning until that
Very
happened.
severely
Contested.
misjudged ranges
Flag
here.
Lost.
At
Flag
shooting teammates again.
captured.
Oh man, our northeast kind of lost when it should
Yeah,
have.
Shad just shot Ephemeral there instead of the enemy.
Contested.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you guys just have all those north/west flags controlled right now with us having like no units around.
Yeah, Ella, so
It's
you
so
really
tight,
saved
we're-
the game on this by controlling that middle because our north dies and our south dies kind of not well,
feel like
right?
we'll-
Yeah, we just we
I feel
got
like
lucky
our
too. I
team-
mean, he rushed me with Stolas with spiders, so it wasn't the best play from them. But we were able to hold it down.
I feel like our team,
contested.
after we killed
Flag
you in that
contested.
southwest, we should have
Flag captured.
sure gone east, but we should have
Flag
left like 2 to
contested.
3 melee to go up
Flag
north.
lost. Flag
I think we made a
captured.
mistake
there's
by
always a-
leaving,
Flag
taking all the units away
contested.
from that part of the map.
1 minute remaining. Flag
Always
captured.
those contingencies.
Flag lost.
This game, it was
Flag
great the way it played
contested.
out because it was so close,
Flag
but it really
captured.
should never have been this close.
Flag
Like the
contested.
way we controlled the
Flag
Northeast in the
contested.
beginning should have been
Uh-huh.
a more significant
Flag
advantage than it ended up
captured.
being.
But we let adrenaline through, and no one
Flag
like the
lost.
way that Shad moved to face him
30
was just
seconds.
awful. He put himself in between two forces and just
Yeah, and then me dying in the South was pretty awful. It's like
Flag
probably maybe
contested.
my
Yeah.
worst game of the match. So
that happens.
I did not know who was going to win this game at this point. I couldn't do the math
Lost.
fast enough. I knew it was going to come down to like seconds. So.
Yeah.
It was just a
us
pinch.
too.
It was just like a
Super
was
close.
contest as best you can and hope
Contested.
something happens.
Flag lost.
super close. Went down to the
Flag
wire.
lost.
It's exciting.
Oh,
though.
shit.
Captured.
Yeah.
Flag
That's the closest
Yeah,
I've ever
literally-
seen in that game.
7-second difference
Yeah, that's crazy.
and very close play. I mean, it's even though Ephemeral died, they took out a bunch of stuff with them, so it was a very good. I don't know what term to use, but a good way to die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also,
Kill
I think
when
this
you
is
die.
probably one of your best games of the match, to be honest.
I think so too. I mean, I kind of definitely handled their mid. I just kind of swept through Thal and
So,
stopped the rush.
Asmo,
so
what would you have done differently, you think, in this game?
Well, definitely in the southwest after that melee engage, we should not have sent all our units east, most of them, but we should have kept like 3 to 4 melee in that northwest just to run up towards like the arena side and to contest the farm flag with how close the time ended up being. Also, yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it exactly, but it looked like Adrenaline when it contested arena was actually a pretty freaking good move at that point of the game. But I think he starts to run the artery to the like southeast flag, or maybe I'm missing something. Maybe he changed his mind and went back. I lost track of that.
Adrenaline ends up he tries to leak through and then he turns around and decides to fight northeast. He does tag the one flag, and
Okay.
he could have sent more through. I
Okay,
think.
so he does fight northeast. Yeah, he did fine there then. Yeah, I think it's just the main
Turns
thing
back
that's
around and-
southwest though.
Yeah, he turns back around and pinches northeast, so he was able to pinch Shad.
Yeah.
Who just didn't perform as he should have in the position he was in.
I definitely, and one
But I'm-
thing I think we should get to change that it wasn't like even a strat thing, but like we had a bunch of pusless ghouls. At points there were like artery fights going on near a flag that you guys had, where we could have used a pusless ghoul to get contest time on those flags, and even if it dies, whatever, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, they're free units anyways.
I feel like Ratking's played really good through these first 3 games for our team. I'd say easily he's the standout player for us right now.
Yeah, I was about to ask you who that was. Yeah.
I think his trolling could use a little shaping up. Like on Green Acres, he didn't really do much on the trolling. But otherwise, I think he did fine. I think he did fine versus Paris and on this game, 2 and 3.
He was northeast with the melee pack. Did he end up? He ended up shifting south after he got cut off. Is that what he did?
No, so he was in the, he's caught in the corridor, and he ended up breaking off to the west and meeting up with you when you were in the southwest.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Anybody else got anything to add to this one before we move on?
No, this one was just a tight match. It could have gone either way very easily.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we won Northeast very quickly, but then kind of gave it up.
Would you have gone heavier
I think
northeast, Asmo, if you had to do it again?
Yeah, I mean, our goal from the strat is like we're gonna make sure we have more units in the northeast because we want to control that area. I didn't think you would send more than we sent based on what we sent.
I was telling
But
LSO like
you were
I'm
able
90
to win the Southwest.
I was telling you I'm 95% sure we're to get control of the northeast because we're gonna have more units there. And yeah, we had 44% of our army there, right? So shit.
We essentially did a 2-prong. Paris being south of that hill wasn't really a 3rd prong. It was we kind of just decided to abandon the southwest and push for the northeast. So we kind of split 60-40, or I guess 56-44. and yeah, completely win it. This one kind of turned into one of those games. It's chaotic at the end. There's flags for both
Yeah, this is the
teams
biggest
on every end of the map.
probably of the match, maybe. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it was kind of. I think both teams were just sitting there hoping the number came out on top for them because
Yeah.
it was too close to tell. But like I said, 7 seconds is just like it's nearly a tie as far as king of the map goes.
7 seconds is if that game goes on 1 second longer, we potentially win. Like that's how close it was.
But then also if it goes on 1 minute longer, we're up 12%, and it's just like that nail biter game.
All right, I loaded the next one.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
All right,
1 second.
yeah, give me a second too. Oh, this one. Yeah, we can just skip this one.
I mean, we kind of had mirrored strategies on this, Asmo. I know I think you kind of knew we were going to do this anyway, and so yeah, we've talked about this strategy before with you, and you kind of knew that that's what we were going to do, and you did the same thing. It seemed like.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't do the Archer pack that you guys did.
No, it's different strategies. I
That's
think it's different
different.
enough.
Did I load the right one?
I think I told you. I showed you this strat a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you remember.
You loaded up the John God map. We're on Karkadarn right now.
Oh, I loaded the wrong map. Yep, my bad.
Yeah, Kirkadon.
Good. Wait,
Asmo,
what the heck?
I think I told you the strats for this a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Well,
I didn't download it. My bad. Let me go download it
well,
real quick.
You ran the strat. You ran in this in a pub game.
Yeah, and I told you this is my strat.
I can't remember if you told me that or not. You might have. If
Oh, yeah,
you did, I probably didn't. Probably didn't believe. I knew you were going to do the same thing, but I thought you might have ran your Archer Throw Prac south. I wasn't sure if you were going to do it in the same direction.
But you knew that was the idea.
Oh yeah, I knew you were doing this 100% from the start.
So you kind of drew this strat up as a counter strat, do you think, or was this going to be your strat regardless of who your opponent is?
No. Well, as I thought about it more, it became that. But I mean, it started with countering you guys because I knew what your strat was. And so initially, I was like, oh, yeah, we'll do the same strat. We'll run the Throw Archer pack against the same way, and we'll just, plays better is going to win the game. But Dantski is actually like giving his little critiques after I released all my strats initially. He's like, what do we do if they send archers and throw mid? So I was thinking through, I was like, oh crap, that sort of breaks our strat based on what I planned on doing. So that's how I ended up coming up this, changing things.
Yeah, again, you knew what we were going to do, because again, it's like, yeah, it's the same kind of pattern and play that we make. We do it over and over and over again.
I test the timers, anything to run our thrall from our start to your flag 7 minutes. So I assume that you guys doing your big flank to our flag would take like 9 minutes. So I figured we have the faster timer on you guys. You guys don't trade for doors to slow us down mid.
Yeah, and we were aware that like the one danger and weakness of this is if you guys do some kind of heavier rush push through middle. I actually wasn't expecting an archless push. I thought maybe you would go same trade, but just push your archers and heavy thrall through middle was what I was more concerned about. So, yeah, we tried to adjust, but, well, not to spoil it, but yeah, we failed to adjust soon enough, so...
You would go ahead and start on, or do you want to go through the trades first?
Oh yeah, just real quick. Okay, real quick.
Yeah, so I mean, Asmo's team gets 3 dwarves and then maxes out melee. It looks like that's straight up.
Yeah, you're just going for the archers.
We opted for 1 dwarf and 5 archers. So really, the difference is on. I think we have like 3 less thrall and a couple archers. And the main thing comes into the directions that we went with our units. So that's where the main. I think that's the main factor for how it played out.
Yeah, and I'll explain really quick for the audience what our strat is here and why we do it this way. I've already had this discussion with Asmo, so he's already aware of it. But this is a pattern we play a lot on light maps, particularly. And basically the idea is you want to invert. So like a lot of people, they'll use their fast units for offense and their slow units for defense because that seems kind of intuitive, right? And that's how Myth was played for many, many years. Still, a lot of times done that way. A few years ago, I had the idea to try and invert that dynamic where you start putting your slow units on offense and using your fast units as defense. The reason for that is that it keeps your whole team kind of more in balance. Because if the opponent doesn't have, they're not threatening, let's say you don't need to use that much stuff on defense, then it's very easy for your fast defense to shift onto offense, right? And if you can put together a really strong but slow-moving offensive force, then that can be a threat. And all you got to do is kind of like buy a little bit of time. And as long as that force kind of moves as fast as it can, usually it can kind of it cannot take them that long to get into the fight, right? So there's a lot of synergies between archers, dwarf, and thrall, and then like a goal pack or any kind of fast melee supporting it. So we end up setting up a squad like that on a flank, and that becomes our offensive force. There's tons of synergies between that because like any kind of puskulls or anything that try to threaten to kill the dwarf can be protected by the thrall and archers pretty well. If we get into an archer fight, even though we only have usually it's a small archer force, like 5 archers, 1 squad. Even if we get into an archer fight, we have a goal pack right there to really help harass and win that archer fight. And if somebody tries to rush us, we have the dwarf there ready to go as well, and a lot of thrall, right? So that's what protects the archers from getting rushed down. So it ends up being this like very effective force when you put together. It ends up being like this like slow siege force, and it's very effective. Not a lot of people know how to deal with it. Asmo already knew this was coming because we played this play against him a bunch of times, and I've explained it to him. And so he's coming up with the strat of like, hey, the counter to that is to figure out a way to ignore that slow-moving offensive force, like keep it out of the fight, and just like get to your flag first, or just find a way to ignore it in some kind of way, right? And that's usually the most effective counter, and it worked out well. So, all right, we ready to start this one?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
So immediately we're spending 43% of our army is flanking to the north. Minus whatever whites get healed, it's about half and half. So it's essentially kind of like the last map where we dedicate an enormous amount of percentage for the game type.
I guess the only thing I didn't mention about the strat we were doing is we were doing a fake rush mid. I don't think it was going to help. The only reason we did that was to make sure our thrall were able to get sucked in the water in case he did something different than what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it did look like you were rushing mid, so we were backing up and getting ready for it. I think we kind of sat there and passively watched the thrall come in. By the time we realized, Jack was already very far away. One thing we did talk about shortly after the match was what we could have done to counter it is here you have really nothing between Paris and the flag. So if we realized you were sending all of those thrall in the water immediately, like if I had scouted very far ahead and seen all those thrall, Paris could continue to that flag and was a major threat. You would definitely have to give up on your offense to go match him.
So that
could have been a contingency. Go ahead.
That's why we decided to go for dwarfs instead of the archers, because we realized we were doing a throw wall mid, and we figure that maybe a counter is one of your warrior packs runs by and takes down our flag defense. So we figure dwarfs better for stalling that than archers.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And right here, I think I had to tell Shad 6 times to not fight your center. It's just like he's got 5 warriors, and it looked like he was trying to throw a bus at you. It's just crazy how aggressive the man is.
Yeah, he's very aggressive.
Very naturally aggressive. See, again, look, he's going back at you there, mid. I'm like, Shad, no way. There's no need for that. Here, just I think your thrall are a little right out of my sight. Or right now, I see the blue thrall going in the north, but I didn't see the gray thrall going in. And that was just kind of a miss from me as captain, panning around the map and seeing. Right here where Dak is in this very moment, he has plenty of time to come back and defend us.
Yeah,
we were so confident.
This was about where I needed to tell him to turn around. I did not see...
Yeah, or anyone to tell him to just, hey, Dak, come help.
I didn't see the second thrall pack, and I thought you guys had a north, like a bigger north up there somewhere. So
Yeah.
at this point, I do not know what's happening. Like, I don't see the call yet.
Yeah,
And
same.
actually,
I missed that second throw back.
Asmo, you guys, maybe you did, I'm not sure if you guys did this intentionally. If you did, it's brilliant, because I do this sometimes too, where like I will go middle and then just like pause for like 20, 30 seconds to let the flanks go around a little bit more, so that all you gotta do is wait like 10, 20 seconds and the flanks will get so far out of range to be able to help the middle that we get out of position, and that's what happened here, so that was great.
Yeah, that's something we specifically talked about, me and Wayward One specifically, where like we need their flanks committed to a certain spot to make sure they can't reinforce our thrall push.
Yep. We didn't see that second pack of thrall. Our scouting was is what failed us here. We didn't scout well enough.
Yeah.
That was what.
Neither
Jack
GKG nor
is
I
still
saw
going
that
north.
second pack of thrall.
Yeah, this is right here is where. Yeah, now
His
Dak
dwarf
turned
starts
around.
going back.
I only saw the second pack of thrall right then, and now he turned.
If either
around.
of us had seen that second throw back, we could have turned him around. But
our
and again,
scouting failed.
Shad's fighting your mid here. He's already lost a warrior. Like, so here the only thing we could really do was just fall back as slowly as we could.
That's why
and
it's
hope
so
that our
important to scout
offense could
aggressively
go
at the
through
beginning of
adrenaline.
every game. Everybody, so everybody knows that it's so important to scout every game, because then you know what the opponent's trying to do.
Yeah,
Dak also, we told him to come back to the flag, and he's not doing a direct beeline. He's kind of heading towards your mid, which slowed him down too. I still don't think he would have made it.
No, it
time,
doesn't matter.
but he's definitely slowing himself down here, trying to chase your thrall, which is
yeah,
a bit
scouting
unfavorable.
out is very important. Like that's why we're the first reason we gave, and also the second reason was to make sure we had you scouted out, make sure you didn't have a ton of doors. Like we didn't think you did, but we wanted to make sure, you know. So yeah, more knowledge you have, the easier it is to make decisions.
And here, I'm asking Ephemeral if they can literally just run around Adrenaline and go contest. I didn't realize your home has got a pretty decent amount of thrall and a dwarf on it too, which is, hard to take. Hard for a gold pack to keep contested with that dwarf on there and all that thrall. So our only saving grace would be if Ephemeral could pretty much contest for a couple minutes, and we wait on Dak to fight. That's really the only thing that could save us. Or Ephemeral ags and PKG takes it and we just give up ours. But your offense is so quick here, there's nothing we can do. We're stuck. We're pinned on the flag. You have considerable more melee dwarves. It's just pretty much a losing fight here, like very early.
Yeah, I mean at this point, I mean you guys know, just telling for people that don't, like we're literally just waiting for our thrall to engage, so it forces these guys to clump up to defend against them, so we can get a good plus on you.
Exactly.
That's smart.
Yeah, thrall in first, correct.
Always
good idea.
First, yep.
And Funk's a little out of position here to help us too.
Yeah, no, I really liked your team's execution on this. I think this was like the one
Yeah,
game
y'all
your
played
team
very well.
executed like perfectly. So.
And I don't know what Paris is doing here. We could have maybe. Yeah, the best chance we have here in this fight is while you're chopping up all those thrall, we pick your flank apart one edge at a time. Our defense just meleeed in a different area. Everywhere.
It seemed like we didn't defend very well either, but
Paris was on the bottom side, so I shifted to the bottom side, hoping that we could kill Ratking and then turn around and fighting. But as I was shifting, he shifted up, so we just kind of traded positions and
yeah. Actually did
the only way you win this is by fighting the same. Only way you can win this is by fighting the same person at the same time. So we would have to focus on Ratking or something.
So right now we're hoping that we can at least contest for long enough for my archers to get there, but it's gonna.
But there's no way. At 3 goals
we could
can't
have traded flags. Actually, if we had traded flags, it wouldn't have mattered because I think there's enough time on the map anyway. And
you turn around.
So yeah.
Good strategy on your part.
Yep,
Poor reaction on ours. Very slow to counter it. So it ended up working really well. I guess as well as you intended.
Yep, well done.
If you scout us out and knew what we were doing sooner, based on the trade you did.
If either of us had seen your thrall pack, I think Dak would have come back a minute or two sooner. I think you still had enough to take it, and I'm not saying that would have saved the game for us, but it would have made it closer.
I think
you still I think you still had the correct idea with the dwarf power there. I mean, even if Dak gets back, you still have 3 dwarves.
F was distracted with trying to get Bottle Puss, and I think that slowed him down from scouting deep enough into the north. Because if I knew there was no north up there, that would have changed the calculus for me completely. I thought there was something up there.
Same.
Yeah.
I figured there would be some sort of defense in the north.
Because again, I didn't see that second thrall pack, so I knew there were some other units somewhere, right? So,
Well, I assumed you might have had some stuff south, or
and we probably should have scouted mid more aggressively too to be able to see that second thrall.
yeah,
pack
they just had a
earlier.
bunch of stuff, and we couldn't. I mean, if we had tried to scout any farther, we would have just been a hit.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I mean, Shad was in range to see it. I just didn't hear him say anything about it. I didn't see it, so
I didn't see it either. I'm not. I'm not.
yeah,
sure.
we all
Do
just
you think
missed
we
it.
were in range to scout it? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not
Shad
sure.
was like literally trying to fight 50
'Cause
warriors
he was
with
on the
5,
south,
and
he was on the south side of mid though, and that second thrall pack was on the north side of mid. So I'm not even sure.
Oh,
if
well,
he
I
it.
saw the one on the north side of mid immediately. I never saw the one on the south side of mid.
Oh.
Maybe what we had happen is everyone called out one thrall pack.
Yeah.
They were
yeah.
they were talking
We
about
all
different
saw
thrall
one.
packs.
Yeah. I did not know.
Someone said, "Look, they're sinking thrall," and I saw the blue thrall go in. I thought, "Yep, that's not enough to concern me."
Interesting. Yeah, no, I didn't
And
see
then
it
I
was
guess
blue
someone
thrall.
else was looking
I
at the
saw
gray thrall.
I saw the one on the bad
Okay.
side. Yeah, I didn't see the blue thrall.
So we just a complete blunder from us there, and a good strategy from Asmo.
Hang on just a minute.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Got the John God map loaded up.
Okay. All right, sorry. Blowing it up.
All right. I just got it paused on 1 second. Going ahead and making some notes about the trades here. I think the trade is different by 1 archer, so
Yeah,
it's
it is. You guys
nearly
got 3
identical.
north thrall.
Yeah, 3 thrall versus 1 archer. Which, when you get down to differences that close, it's almost negligible.
Yeah, pretty much no difference.
I would say that capture the flag and flag rally, having the little melee could arguably be better. Arguably could be the better trade. But like I said, it's a negligible difference. There's really not a situation where 3 thrall will come up against that 1 archer and make a huge game-changing difference. The main difference is, though, not in the trade, it's in the distribution of the trade. So it looks like you do a gold pack as well as us. But instead of having... You do 4 warrior packs, a bit
So you have a
smaller.
dedicated thrower?
We have a dedicated trawler, and we have 3 warrior packs. And we have... Well, actually, we have, 1 thrall dwarf pack and 1 dedicated thrall pack. And both are in support of GKG's archers. So we traded differently in terms of that. So or split differently rather. So you've got 4 warrior packs of 6, and we have 3 of 8, and then you have 2 guys with thralls.
Yeah, and Asmo, where does Rat go on this game? I don't remember.
So he has the gold
Mid.
pack. Yeah, so he initially goes mid. And then, shoot, I don't even remember where he ends up after. I know he sends one tagger on each side. That was his job too, to get the fast tags and then bring his goal back together. Where was his goal? I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch the game. I honestly
Yeah,
don't
I gotta
remember
watch the game
anymore.
too because if he's not south, I would say that's a big mistake because when you're setting up that Archer Thrall Dwarf slow siege force like we just talked about in the last game, both teams are now doing that in this game. The goal pack should be with those archers because it's just so effective, the synergy they create in helping those archers to win the archer fight and push forward more. And I didn't feel his goals there at all. And we had goals on our side with F. So although I'm not sure if F was with me either, to be honest. I'll have to
Yes,
see. Was he?
they were.
Okay, yeah.
Initially they went up
I thought he was in the
the
backfield
flank and
tagging flags too. But...
ended up going to backfield. Yeah, but
Yeah.
initially with you, so
Right.
kind of different than our normal
for sure.
dynamic.
Initially, he was definitely with me. Yeah.
What was your guys' reasoning for the path that you chose to send your thrall and archers on?
There was more deep water in the south that I liked more for better thrall control. So that's I guess the reasoning.
Yeah.
I don't think it
And
matters.
that's the thing
but
is
you're-
when
much,
you
but...
and distributions, and so I said a negligible difference in trade is by one archer versus 3 thrall. What does matter is how you distribute units and where you send them.
What
And
was
that'll
your
make
guys'
some of the
thought
front
process,
end different.
Asmo?
What's up?
Why did you guys choose the flank that you chose?
So I was gonna do actually reverse if I was on your side. So I'd send it north from your side. The whole idea was to take the quickest path without going straight through mid.
Yeah, no,
That would get
that's totally
that would
valid.
get us that would get us to the furthest flags the fastest with that
Yeah,
pack to
that's
put you guys on
that's
timer.
totally valid. Yeah, I agree. And you might actually be.
I mean, it's
correct
a
in that,
symmetrical
to be
map,
honest.
so whether you go up the X or Y axis first, it
I
doesn't
don't-
really make
I
too
don't
much
think
of
it
a
is,
difference.
LSO. I think I was wrong about that. I thought it was symmetrical, but if you look at it, it's slightly rectangular. I think. And so there is a near flank and a far flank, and you're right, Asmo. In general, you would want to send that slow force on the near flank so that they get in the fight as quickly as possible. So it's not super asymmetrical, so it ended up being like a negligible difference maybe, but you are correct in general in that line of thinking. You might actually be more correct than we were. It ended up just not mattering, I guess, that much, but
Yeah, so, and then also, we were able to, Ephemeral got in the backfield super quick, whereas Ratking went mid, couldn't really do anything, get around me or Funk very quickly, so that was a bit of a difference, but
Yeah, I
I
think that was the arrow strategy. I can't even give it up. Put that on
I think
Ratking.
so.
I told them to go there.
And no, I'm not saying, yeah, exactly. I mean, just however it played out, it just wasn't as effective, but I think we can go ahead and watch this and make note as we watch it play out.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
So we start with our siege slow force going east, and so do you. So it kind of matches up. And then the same thing with the warriors on the other side. Paris very particular about sending his goals out to tag before getting plus, and it played. I think Paris ended up tagging your corner flag first by doing that. So it kind of, I guess it did pay off this time. I could be wrong about that, but I think Paris gets flag number 1 before your team does.
Yeah, again, because that's what Asmo was just saying, that was our near side, and so I think that's right. Like, we get that near flank tag first.
I think we actually get both corner tags first.
Might be.
Or for some reason, Ephemeral doesn't walk onto 5 and Rat King's able to tag it. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
think there's some
Ratking
weird
sent a plusless goal straight to 5, so I'd be surprised if you guys get that first.
No, yeah, Rat should tag that first. You're right.
Oh,
yeah.
True.
And Power did the same thing on the other side. So now where's Rat?
Yeah,
gone?
I see
'Cause
Rat King. I see Rat King's gold now.
Yeah, where's
it looks like
his
Rat
goal
has
tag?
2.
He went
2 goals mid, 1 in each corner, and then he's got 2 getting pus going mid. So it's kind of like goal pack is also really small in this map. It's only 6
you're
goals.
right. It's only like 6.
So he's just spread out across the map right now, where Ephemeral is
Okay.
focused on one
I
location.
see. Yeah, I think that's
the idea was just to get the plusless goal tags initially, then he would recruit both.
Right. Okay. That's fair enough. That's smart. Par was kind of doing the same thing on flag 1 there.
A difference though is our defense thrall pack we sent with all of our thrall went one direction.
Oh yeah.
Where you sent a thrall pack up to 2 in the north, sent the rest of your thrall.
yeah.
So you split your thrall 2 directions and kept some on home. You really focused on one flank being both kind of an attack and a defense.
In general, I
with
don't
all of our
I don't
thrall.
like that, to be honest, Asmo. In general, I always like to pocket my flag defense on right behind where most of my units are, to make things kind of more balanced, like if I need to go back and reinforce the defense, right? So in your case, you put your primary flag D on the opposite side. Like it can work out, like as long as it can hold, but if it can't hold, you know, if it ends up needing to be reinforced for whatever reason, it's going to be really difficult to deal with.
I feel like a mistake we made here. I feel like this was my weakest game, like control my units. Is I didn't notice that you guys had 3 guys on 3 word packs and we had 4 guys on 4, you know? So your word packs are bigger, ours are smaller, but we have 1 extra guy. I feel like we retreated into your bigger ones back towards our flags. But since we had 1 extra guy in our warriors, we needed to find a way to get someone loose.
You guys had an extra war pack with your archers than we did. I had to deal with it on my side of the map, but it didn't really do anything. I think it was Thal that stayed there.
Yeah, it can't really frontally pressure anybody, you know, with all of those thrall
I ended
there.
up getting a ton of
By
hits
keeping-
on those warriors, actually.
Keeping half of your thrall in the north, now we have all of our thrall in one location. You have a war, like, what it essentially does is we have just as much melee as you do. You're also dedicating warriors to that offense that can't really do anything. So
I wanted to slip
we
my
freed up
word
all of
pack
our
in your
warriors
backfield
to
right now. I was just too scared not to get pinched from it if I did that.
Oh, you should have. I was worried about it. I was telling Funk that that's what we had to watch for. I think you should have gone straight through. I would have had to send Funk back. Like right here,
now,
right here, we opened up a big hole. Yep, you should have. You should have followed your instinct. I said that. I said, Funk, as we're pushing, we have to watch. If Asmo dives into us, we have to like get up and fall for it. But instead, you followed us, which is what I wanted you to do.
This is my weakest game for sure, like decision making wise. I was too busy shadowing when I needed to just slip through and play aggressive.
Yeah, Asmo, you should have just went straight to our backfield and started tagging.
Yeah, right there, you have a wide open lane, and I would have had to send Shad back or something. Like, yeah, it would just been bad for us.
That was a big mistake.
I did keep that. I did watch that. No, I knew that it was a possibility, so I told Funk like if Asmo moves, we don't go on offense. But you were following us, so
I assume you would have shadowed that LSO if he.
So literally, what I'm saying, the words I'm saying are, Asmo can go through our backfield, Funk. So if he starts to, you follow him. But he's following us, so we can keep pushing. Yeah, we managed to get a bunch of space here. We pushed your warriors into the corner, but nothing really came of it.
Rat and F are having a goal duel in the northeast, and F's using small pus to kind of pick off Rat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a new meta that you guys create. I don't know if it was F or that's something you guys just figured out.
It was F's idea.
Straight up Ephemeral choosing to pick a small bus.
As soon as he said it, I was like, I really regret I'd never thought of that before myself, because it's totally clutch.
Looks like our thrall are dying very early in the water here. That's very concerning.
Oh yeah, I ended up picking a terrible fight here against Adrenaline's thrall. He had way more thrall than me.
And then looks like Wings goes to send some in and dies too after you. What is that, Wings?
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I thought he retreated. He might have retreated. He took some damage, but yeah, he took some damage.
Oh, no. You weren't watching. You died, and after you died, Wings walked in.
No.
And started to die.
I saw it. Yeah, he lost half his thrall. Yeah, he saved some. There's some weird animation, by the way,
down
10%. When goals die on
this. I did not realize we were up 10% at this point. That's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah, we just lost 10% in thrall here. Your offense definitely could have lined up their thrall and pushed us. Mr. Aggressive Adrenaline didn't really get aggressive how he needed to.
Yep, I agree. I made a terrible decision picking that thrall fight, and he should have abused it, but he didn't.
Yeah, he
could have literally just thrown his thrall into our flag, and we would have been very. I don't think we would have been able to stop it, to be honest.
Right here. Now you have way more melee than we do on this home.
More thrall and a warrior pack here, and he doesn't choose to throw it in and push us off this flag. That was a huge blunder.
I wouldn't be fighting archers right now if I was Adrenaline. I'd be pushing the thrall to thrall, and I'd be getting our archers on the thrall that's trying to block it too.
Exactly. He should be shooting at Thrall all day.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
saying.
Just push those...
He's going to be so focused on archer fighting that he's
Yep.
not going to use his thrall.
And he always fights at max distance. You see that? He doesn't close the distance.
The thrall need to be marking right now. Dang, that's the difference. See, that's a filler of me. I can't even get mad at Adrenaline too much. Like that's a call that I need to make if I didn't see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
So here I'm trying to come around and pinch your south a little bit.
Yeah, Adren
Once I
just,
get here, I realize
in there. It's really like unbelievable he didn't do that.
Maybe it's because
yeah, but I got here in time to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, you're here now. Yep.
But the situation I found myself in here is there's nothing really good for me to attack from behind. I could just run into his thrall, but there's nothing good for me to puss unless I wanted to puss thrall. But
granted, they only had one puss, and so they probably were unlikely to be able to pick off our dwarf. So that's probably why Adren didn't put his thrall in, because we have the dwarf.
Yeah, most likely.
See, I didn't realize they didn't have.
But I still think
they don't have any puss. I could have definitely attacked Adrenaline.
I still think their archers could have done a ton more damage though if he had just like been more aggressive with it, you know. And now instead of them thrall rushing us, we thrall rush them, and now with LSO's support here, and now he's gonna get pretty messed up. So, well, here, Asmo, you're there too to help out, but it's gonna be an interesting fight.
Yeah, Asmo got here in time, just really stopped me from committing to attacking Adrenaline. I found myself between two players now. So I'm just kind of keeping Asmo off and getting ready to hit Adrenaline from behind right here.
So before the fight happens here, we're up 15%, but there's only 3 minutes and a half left, and we have to travel a long way to get to your flag since you guys have flag advantage.
There's some weird animation on the dwarf explosions and the pus explosions on this or something. You guys see that?
Yeah, I guess it's just sand coming up from the ground.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like it's a Zeph map pack thing or a John God map pack thing.
Happening. I was like, what is that?
Mm.
My archers end up getting a ton
I had a bad dud right there.
Yeah,
would have killed all
really bad dud. I would have flamed it too. Did you see? I was right there, ready for it. I threw the flame right after that pus got.
Yeah,
and they picked it up.
I could have killed Thal right there.
Yeah,
but
and Thal picks it up, and now he has it.
And while this is going on, I want to point to the west here. Funk and Paris come back on defense here, and like Asmo's team doesn't really have an offense anywhere else to pick up any momentum. So we've essentially switched our two home flags to over here. Paris and Funk are defending this flag 8 in the far west. So right here, we kind of win this fight. We even it up. I don't want to say win, but we definitely even it up.
Yeah, Par did a great job
of ourselves a very safe position
and holding on to flags there.
Yeah, so Paris is on his own initiative playing defense here, and it's exactly what we needed.
Yeah, and that's typically the role we like to see him in. He does a great job coordinating those defenses.
Flag defenses on Asmo right here, our fight right here, Asmo, pus that kills me.
Yeah,
was 100% wings throwing a pus into all of my melee. You can ask you can ask anyone on my team. I was extremely livid about this. I could have definitely. You were trapped in the corner, and we have 2 pus. Right here, he throws into. Oh my god! I'm just getting angry watching it.
Yeah, plus 3 of your 4 warriors.
I knew it was in a
he literally punches me.
I was trying to bait like a bad plus, but that's more.
You were so.
I was dead.
I was able to like help even it out a little bit for you with the archers in the back of Asmo's melee. Yeah.
You were pinned against the wall, and I had 2 good plus there with me. I could have killed you and walked away unscathed, and he pusses me.
Here, our flag is super
and then he loses his dwarf, and now he loses his dwarf.
Yeah. Well, at least he's got
and
on the flag.
Your team scrambles to take.
That's a bad melee by Dantski. That's a really bad melee by him.
Yeah, he should have done a little bit better there.
He should have clumped his warriors better right there.
Definitely.
He lost like 1 or 2 warriors right at the beginning of the fight.
So we managed to save 6, and luckily Paris and Funk come back here. It looks like Ratking and what was that, Mark, I think, are trying to take that flag, but Paris manages to clean up over here. So it does turn into a very close melee,
but close game overall, a really close game.
I feel like I felt your shot calling like flag 6 that we tried to take. So we needed to take 2 flags. You guys have 3. We don't have.
Right.
Like I just made like 4 or 5 missed calls or not saying anything this game that needed to happen. But I feel like this is also an example or talked about earlier on. Like there needs to be more.
I missed so many calls in my mind that are obvious that I just didn't see until looking back at it now.
Yeah, I mean, are a couple situations here where we kind of had some open spots for you to try to exploit. And Adrenaline really just needed to use his thrall there. Just push the thrall in. He has
Yeah,
an
like
enormous melee
he
advantage.
he
Before I could come support that flank, you had an enormous melee
we
advantage
had
on
a
that flag.
dwarf, but
And
like
Thal couldn't do
his
anything
thrall
with the
could have
warrior
been
pack.
in the water right next to the flag, and it would have helped him to win the archer fight, and that's what how he needed to play that. But he's not aggressive enough.
Yeah, and like really Thal's warrior pack being there on the offense with the thrall pack, it's not really doing anything. There's not really anything for it to do. It's
I
just kind
think,
of there, you know. It's supporting Adrenaline, but it's doesn't. There's nothing he can do there. So
well,
that's one of the reasons we send all of the thrall together. Look up here in the north on flag 2. I think if you have Thal there on defense and this Wayward One Thrall Dwarf pack on offense with your other Thrall, you match up much more evenly. You could still get the same push factor that you had, and you have more warriors to help defend and to make more plays. Because
yeah,
if you consider at the end there, if you have more warriors in the west versus Paris and more Thrall in the south versus us, it's probably much better in your favor after GKG loses like 18 Thrall in the water or something, 16 Thrall.
I feel like the two obvious changes we need to make there is I slip through and also foul. Once you just realize he's just tied up south, don't stay south. Run towards mid and look to slip through as well. I feel
I
like we
think
got enough
the
warrior
change comes
pack
on the
there.
I think the change comes on the front end where you send Thrall on offense instead of Warriors, like just like we did, all Thrall together and then all Warriors together. And there's better synergy that way. That way, you know how we pushed your flag 2, didn't take it, and then ran away? Well, Wayward One's still sitting on flag 2 with 10% or something. So, but if it were a Warrior pack on flag 2 instead, it can then go on offense and match us, and our West is in much more danger. Just subtle differences like that can make a lot in the end. So, I mean, that's
Close
my take
game,
on it,
really
anyways.
close game. I mean, and still, I would say it was solid. It was solid game. Similar strats. The only thing, Asmo, I'm not so sure about is like putting the flag D on the opposite side of where your big push is, but it still worked out for you. It didn't really matter in this game, but as a general rule, on flag rally games, just in general, I almost always defend 2 flags on whichever side I'm strongest on, just to keep things more balanced.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. Well, I guess you already mentioned it, Asmo. Like, yeah, maybe coordinating like some kind of pressure under our backfield better. I'm not sure. Like all of our warriors, I guess. Again, like we both know the strategy here is like roaming defense with the fast warriors. So like, of course, our warriors probably would have adjusted, but maybe they got slightly out of position and overextended somewhere, and you might be able to pick off at least one of those backfield flags.
It was we knew Asmo's spot, and I made several calls that Asmo could leak through, but I mean, it wasn't going to happen. I was very focused on not letting it happen.
Any other thoughts on this one?
I think just the main thing is that if they had more Thrall on offense and those Warriors matched their defense, they might have been able to peel off that West flag. But I mean, it was very close. Came down to the end. Pretty even fight across the board.
You could have actually also, Asmo, as soon as you're down to like, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, if you saw that you needed more offense, you might have actually had to start peeling off some Thrall to like pressure that West flag. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I just feel like, yeah, there's so many things that I missed that should have happened. That for sure, like I said that like during the game when it's too late, it's like, dang, we should have pulled off all our defense other than a couple instead of offense, but it's too late. Like I just missed so many calls this game.
Well, it's hard because you're doing it by yourself. So yeah, that's how it's gonna always be when you're. Well, not that you're doing it 100% by yourself, but you know you're shouldering too much of the burden anyway. Also, I would say when you're doing flag D, that solo dwarf that's on flag 2, it's just too easy to pick it off. You know, like if F Skull Pack had gotten over there with a pus, like there's no way WWO would be able to defend that dwarf with 5 Thrall against a Gold Pack. So I would almost go like either more Thrall, or that's why I always put my Dwarf on these maps with the Archer pack. It's got to be defended in some kind of way. It's super hard to keep a Dwarf alive with just Thrall. Super hard.
Did you guys bottle plus at all that game? I didn't see. You didn't, did you?
I actually
I think Ephemeral picked up 1 or 2, but I don't know if they use it.
Yeah, I think we were starting to, but I'm not sure if he actually used it. So yeah, it's really his call. We give him that gold pack squad all the time, and it's like kind of whatever he wants to do. I will mention on that point, we did come up with a new meta for gold packs on this, where we already kind of alluded to it with the you had mentioned the small pus. You know, a lot of times we would do like if you had like a gold pack of 6 to 8 goals, and we would do like double bottle pus sometimes. Then I had the thoughts of like, hey, you should do, instead of double bottle plus, my next idea was just do one of those as bottle plus and keep the others empty, because then that the empty gold pack, if you still got like 4 goals that are empty, you can use those to pick off straggler melee for when the bottle, you don't want to spend your bottle plus on a straggler melee. That's usually how you defend against a bottle plus, is you start throwing straggler melee kind of in its face, and it kind of fucks it all up. It makes it hard for it to do like throw or do anything. But if you put like leave 4 goals without bottle, they can pick off the straggler melee. And then F to add on to that meta was like, actually I can just use small pus with those other goals. And I was like, oh my god, that's brilliant. Yeah, it's perfect. And then that's what we do too with these Archer Thrall squads. This is why you always want the gold pack on the side with the archers, is because F will, a lot of times he'll set up pus shots either with small pus, or if it's a good enough shot, big pus. And if it's in range of my archers get the follow-up damage. And so there's a strong synergy there. I end up getting a pretty good amount of damage that he sets me up for by just pussing some stuff in range for me like that. So
I'm jealous of the people that do gold packs. To me, that's like the most freaking fun roll on a light map like that.
F's probably like literally the best gold pack in the fucking game on these late maps. Like, yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah, I mean, after doing it for 3 years, it's kind of like,
it's always
that's
been
another
like his thing, and he's
the
gotten even
same,
better at it. So yeah,
we've done the same. We've pretty much, other than a couple of minor changes, been the same team for 3 years now. And over those 3 years, we do a lot of the same strategies, and everybody will get the same roles in those strategies. So everyone's kind of built up specializations.
And on these
Ephemeral
Ephemeral
has been the gold pack.
The gold pack is, people I don't think appreciate it enough. The gold pack is almost like heavy hitting duty on these late maps like this. Like it's super crucial. Yeah.
Game changing.
Yeah, exactly.
So right here, we win the series 4-1, and that's when we move into sudden death, just to play the deciding matches here for who wins the tournament.
We'll play these in chronological order, the way they were played. We'll review them that way. So effectively the game we just watched ended the first 7-game part of the series because the score is 4-1, so we won that. So then we're gonna now go on to the sudden death games. I'll load that up next.
Yeah. So be the Barons Venice ×2.
I was very wasteful with my melee this match, I must say. I'm usually not that wasteful with it. This is kind of bad, actually.
No, at least you weren't wasteful with everything, like Dak.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, Dak, you're a suicider.
Asmo, like, this is literally Dak's first games of Myth, I think, in like a couple years or something.
6 years, he said.
No, was it really 6 years? No, really?
I think he said the last World Cup he played in was that 2008.
Well, yeah, but I think he played a little bit of Myth, maybe for.
Okay, he may have played a couple games here or there since then.
A few years though, like at least, yeah.
This is at least his first high-level tournament game in 6 years. And if you consider he's played 10 games of Myth since then, that doesn't really count.
It showed. Like, I was a little concerned about it. Like, he's gonna be really rusty, and it kind of showed. So yeah.
I don't think there's too much difference between him and Wings though. So
if you look at Wings' damage ratios, he had like 0.9 something. It wasn't awful. You know, I think you're a little harder on him than need to be. He actually did
maybe
okay.
because he pusses me and hits me with dwarf bottles. He
pussed you, but he also pussed Asmo as well. He maybe pussed you a little bit worse, but I also hit Asmo in
Yeah.
the back with some archer shots to even it up a little bit too. So it wasn't. Yeah, it is what it is.
This is his first high level games like ever. Though.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm definitely hard on him.
Hey, it's progress. He didn't dwarf us really badly like he did
Yes,
last match.
that was so bad. Bottom bracket finals.
I think he had some
dwarfed us a
jitters
couple
last
times.
match, and it kind of showed with the way he was aiming his dwarf shots. So he kind of calmed down with that, and he did better.
Yes, and he actually did on Green Acres. He did hit Ratking Smirks a couple times before dying. I did see him get some damage with the Solus. Like, he did play fine. I'm holding a grudge for that one bus. It wasn't even a game deciding bus or anything.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the Barons here. Game 1 of sudden death.
Yeah, we don't really need to talk about this too much. The trades,
and it looks like the
same.
exact same trade.
Yeah.
Main difference is that you went with 3 archers of 4,
right.
and we did
so
2
squad
archer guys of
distributions are
6.
different. Now, Asmo, did you do that because you guys started Southwest? Is that the reason for that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Based on start.
Yep. I had the exact same thought. So yeah, I can see why you guys did that. So the set, for anybody who doesn't know, Southwest Start has a slight disadvantage in taking the middle hill here. So Asmo adjusted by, like, let's split the archers 3 ways and put one of those archer squads on a flank to try and push that flank to kind of like shift the battle lines a little bit so that the archers can get more in the fight and to more advantageous terrain. Split the map differently. So that's better.
Yeah, add an off balance and make a push flank and a hold.
And
flank.
I like that. That's smart. I like that. I was thinking of doing the exact same thing if we had gotten a Southwest Star. I think ultimately I didn't do it that way, but I was close to doing it that way. Yeah, I almost did.
Did you guys have a dedicated plus guy on this map?
No, we did not.
Oh, we did. I guess that's a difference. I didn't realize you guys did.
Yeah, was that Rat or no?
Mark.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to see if he was effective with it at all. Yeah, I've seen dedicated pus rolls done on this map before, and they can work quite well. I don't disagree with that. So yeah, I mean, it's totally viable. I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
There's so many artillery. Everyone can have a. There's so much artillery. Everyone can have an active role beyond pus pack.
Well, I mean, it pays off for him. What doesn't pay off? I'm the solo guy in the north to basically absorb pressure so that he can have that role. And I struggle this game, but he ends up getting value for the trade-off, so I think it ends up being equal.
Someone called out that you had 2 warlocks alone, and I was like, actually kind of insane. Ephemeral and Paris need to take advantage of that heavy. Try to out micro.
They did.
And that's the disadvantage of having a dedicated pusser, right? Like, because you got
like I was saying, so much artillery
archers,
spread out.
3-way archers too. You're already kind of stressing your guys with that. So
I think the trade-off was equal to. I don't think it was advantage or disadvantage once the game plays out.
All right, you guys ready to start this?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1. I was a little bit ahead, so.
Oh, whatever. It's a couple seconds. It's
Yeah.
So I mean, I think everyone knows this map has been the same forever. It could be interesting. Actually, I think this is one of the maps I've almost never seen any other game type be played on, other than Last Man. I think this could look much different if there were King of the Map or Territories or Flag Rally or something.
I knew this was going to be the toughest game of the match going into it. I was like, yeah, this is going to be our weakest map by far.
Yeah.
So.
There's no way we weren't going to choose this after watching the bottom bracket final game.
Yeah.
The fact that we lost the game against you guys is still just like mind-boggling to me. A freaking 20% lead.
Homer's team, yeah. Well, I mean, your team is definitely stronger in BC than they are. Ephemeral, I think, had a bad fight and suicided, and that's where most of the lead came from.
I don't know.
But
do you agree with that statement that your team's stronger in BC than Homer's team was?
The team that they had you guys in finals, I don't know.
They're pretty even.
Yes, I definitely agree.
Even, I think.
I'm going to disagree, but
I mean, Genghis is like one of the top players in the game right now, so
and Genghis, who else? I mean, Gecko's good.
Akira had a great match though against us. I mean, he's an underdog.
Okay, yeah, but that's early 3 players. I mean, when you start looking at Zell, garbage. Killer King's okay. Who else? Is Impy
Well,
bad?
no, you say Killer
I mean-
King's okay, but he's actually the one we abused the most against them. So I don't know.
Sure, okay, so Killer King had a bad match. Zell's not very good. Impy's not good.
Okay, MP.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, that's
okay.
three-
Yeah,
three-
you're right. Never mind.
3
Yeah,
weak
you're
out
right.
of 4.
Asmo,
I mean, yeah.
Asmo, your team is like fully deep in its roster. That's the thing.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
deep
Mhm.
roster.
Yeah. So.
I mean, yeah, Genghis is amazing. He also didn't play on this map, if you recall. So it was really up to Gecko and Akira and Homer.
All right, let's see what happens
So,
here. So I
so
get
here in the south,
Yeah, South, we're getting pushed with these archers. It's Dak and I trying to defend against a superior force. We're 3v2'd, and we don't have an archer squad. So we knew that we were just going to have to try and hold this line and prevent Asmo and Funk from getting pinched with their archer line. That's what we're trying to do. Our North, we told them, hey, you gotta push aggressively.
LSO and Funk.
LSO and Funk, sorry. I don't know what I said, but...
Just clarifying. You said Asmo, but
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, whatever. Oh, your team uses all of your fire arrows very quickly. I don't know if I agree with that too well.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
it didn't make a huge difference, but like, it didn't exactly gain you the ground that you need to use fire arrows for. Now we get to fight on very nice, burnt up ground.
So your strat is having the intended effect. The battle lines are shifting more to like a pure north-south, I would say.
But look at Ephemeral in the north. Really, I mean, pushing with the goals, but not pushing with the artillery
I would
like
like
we
to
were
have
asking.
seen F be
Look-
more aggressive with his arty there. Yeah, I agree.
Asmo's holding both of these warlocks, so if Paris and Ephemeral are attacking him at the same exact time, there's really, I mean, even if you're an amazing PC player, it's hard to 2v2 against 2 players on
Yeah, they
warlocks.
needed to abuse
so
that 2v1.
very micro-intense unit.
Because I'm playing 2v1
So we were calling that
on
out.
the other side. I'm playing against Thal and Rat 2v1 on the other side. So it's...
And we were calling that out. Like, Ephemeral and Paris need to push this push. And Paris was like, yeah, I got you, boss. But, I mean, I didn't really hear or see Ephemeral do much there.
Yeah, I would have liked to see our North be more aggressive.
You might be scared of Mark schools, but yeah, I mean, I was scared the whole time because I'm in a 1 versus 2 situation here. I was honestly just like trying to protect the bed from the ghouls because I knew I couldn't do anything against their stuff.
And GKG losing an early goal. Yeah, I really would like to see Ephemeral being more proactive here. Kind of. And of course, so micro heavy. I'm not really. This isn't a map I'm planning a lot. Yeah, although Dantski started south, he kind of came middle and kind of just made a regular archer fight, anyways. But it gained a little bit better ground for it, so it did kind of work out there. A good shot off and killed one of my archers.
I think the trade's coming up in the north side where you guys get your advantage from having an extra player in
Yeah,
the
okay, so-
archery, and then we get the trade for the ghouls.
Yeah, so Ephemeral starts wrapping real heavy here. But Paris is using up all of his mana, so he can't really help. It's kind of stable here now. It can go either way. We're down 2%, but that's like a goal or something. An archer.
Yeah, our North still hasn't done anything. I'm not super happy about that. In fact, Par's lock almost gets picked off here. It might get picked off. It does get picked off.
Ephemeral's way behind.
So Mark, with the
I
dedicated
think it does.
pussing,
Yeah.
does pick off, is doing some work here. F did flank all the way behind Asmo here, so he is getting a good pinch on Asmo right now, but
not too much avail.
it took
like
forever though.
Too
There's only
slow.
4 minutes. Yeah, there's only 4 minutes
Yeah.
left in the game. It's like taking way too long.
too far. I don't see there more. Oh, they gave it to Paris. Okay.
I mean, Asmo
Just
your
way
locks-
too
your
long.
locks
It's
are
not-
still alive. So okay, here Dak
Not what I wanted.
dies. So Thal gets a nice pick off of Dak's lock. At this point, I know we're in trouble.
That's not what I wanted
Ephemeral-
from the north flank at all, really.
Ephemeral missed a puss on your locks there, Asmo. So I'm not really happy about our North here at all.
Yeah, like I said, not what I wanted from him at all when I said to push.
I can see why we lost this.
I
Mark
didn't
did
mean
work.
go all the way around. I meant push.
Mark did work. He killed 2 RD pieces with his dedicated goal pack. So he did
You,
work.
you guys end up equaling out, but it does take a lot longer for sure.
Okay,
That's
so
scary.
Asmo finally loses his locks, but yeah, I mean, it took forever.
Yeah, it looks like Paris comes back and yep, Paris trades out in the north here.
I end up picking off Rat's lock in the east here.
I mean, it's pretty stable here now. Again, in terms of percentages, 63-63. So
yeah, it's super
you
close
can go either
game.
way. I mean, we're keeping it tight.
F is still alive with a lock in the back, so like hopefully he can get some like good shots from behind there. He's in a great position.
Just doing nothing, even though they've been behind the whole time. Just really not
he
putting
needs to
any
push
pressure
in.
on anybody.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not pushing in.
Way too passive.
That goal doesn't even have pus anymore. That Merc's goal doesn't have pus.
Yeah, Adrenaline gives
Well,
me
I don't know if they know that.
And the whole purpose is just to block that lock in the back, like here in a few seconds, so we don't have to worry about it.
Dren's whole job is to just block that lock, yeah. But then now we're able to push the west, which is great. Now
I think
now
we have a
getting
better
control mid.
position here.
We have better position.
We have the flag.
I'm like desperately trying to hold off a 2v1 with Rat and Thal this whole game. It's like it's painful for me. I was really hoping we could abuse the other side of the map.
Oh, really bad pus there.
Yeah, only hitting an archer.
In the west.
Who's
and not even killing it.
I feel like that's how you guys are able to get the mid position late games.
Oh, and look.
Hold them off so long.
Whose pus was that?
I think it was Ephemerals that they saved. I think it got hit, or I don't know. It was probably about to die.
He only hit that one archer.
I think so. I didn't see whose goal it was, but I think so.
That's a terrible, use of pus.
That's weird. My myth game just froze.
I like our position here, though. Like, if you had to choose at this point in time who's gonna win, like I would bet on us. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure. Yeah. I'm surprised we pulled this one off based on the position right now with a minute 30, but we were obviously
really
saying we need to get
now
position.
Now Val and Rat finally push good. They pick off my lock. I fucked that up. So good.
I think that's what changed the game right here. Because we're in a really good position, but then you get pushed in too hard.
Yeah, I mean, well,
there's just really nothing you can do about the situation.
Too. That was bad. But again, I'm fighting 2v1. Mistakes are gonna happen. It's just tough to fight 2v1. I would say Rat and Thal should have been more aggressive earlier against me. Is what they should have done.
2v1s on this map so hard, dude. There's like no melee to protect you.
And then here I kind of start to get a little bit of payback countering. I pick off the lock before my mort dies.
It might be a second or two ahead of me here. Yeah, I froze a little bit.
All right, I want to see what F's lock does, because like he's in a pretty crucial position to help us control the flag. The J-Man is just...
It's Journeyman rushed, I think.
That J-Man is just like blocking the hell out of him.
Shad and Paris throwing away... Shad throwing away his only warrior
Funk
here.
Hitting that J-Man earlier. Okay, now he's doing it. Okay. All right, get that J-Man.
Oh yeah, you're a couple seconds ahead of me.
I don't like that shot that F took, and now he's out of mana. I don't like it. He didn't hit anything, and...
It looks like you guys are in a better position, though, with 3 melee mid versus our...
I make a mistake here, and I rush my J-Man at your archers. I should have rushed it at that mort.
Yeah, that mortar changed the game.
And then
Mortar was able to come up and...
F lost his lock at the same time, too. Against the Dren's mort. That was crucial. Yeah, we were like in a leading position until the very end.
Yeah, that mortar definitely needed to die because it made me have to fold over and get out of the range of the flag.
I thought Shad would be able to like at least hold it off, but he didn't really. So.
And Funk could have played that Journeyman a little bit better. Or I guess Dak, he gave it to Dak. Dak should have stayed on our side of the flag so he wouldn't get hit by arrows, but instead he rushed their archer. Kind of a weird choice there.
Sloppy, very sloppy by us at the end there. Wow.
Yeah, it could have been much better. We had position, we had everything, and then we just got folded in by those mortars on the flank.
I mean, it was a solid pick for you guys, Asmo. I don't think it's like such a weak map for us that like it's a guaranteed win for anybody that picks it against us. But yeah, we screwed the pooch at the end there though.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this one.
Yeah, there's not much to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an artillery fight, you know.
Yeah. We kind of said everything as it was
just pulled it out at the end.
So, who had a really great match or game in this game? I wonder. I think Adren probably did have a pretty good game.
Really good.
Yeah.
I think everybody was pretty even until the end. I think Adrenaline's Mort was able to get a bunch of kills at the end there.
Adren picking off F's lock, he kind of just neutralized F completely. I would just say. F had a very dominating position from where he was at, and but he just wasn't able to capitalize on it at all. I think Mark too. His dedicated pus pack was worth it. Like he killed 2 arty pieces, like in the middle of the game, not too late. So it was probably worth it putting him on that. So Asmo, I would have liked to have seen you been more defensive with your locks and just trying to keep them alive until Mark's done with his goaling, because like you pushed all the way up to like our side of the map and you let F get behind you. Like I would have just fell back probably. So
Yeah, in hindsight, that's what I do. I guess the thing I was worried about is I didn't want Duran getting blindsided first on that side, so I was still at least trying to give him like some ground to work with.
yeah, I mean, in general, you should have known that you were the defensive flank, right? So you should just be focused on staying alive. Like you see, you only got 3 damage with 2 locks. If you had kept those locks alive, you could have handed one off to Mark as soon as he was done pussing, and then you guys would have been a very commanding lead there. All right, I will go on to the next one.
Yep, 1 is not enough. Very
Now-
different strategies
now,
here.
Asmo's team is up 1-0 in the sudden death.
Best of 3, by the way. So there's like if they win this, they win it all.
I knew this was gonna be like a very strong map for us, so I wasn't too concerned about it. So yeah, we'll go over our strat a little bit first here. So we're doing a 3-way split tro. This is a very complicated strategy actually to execute, and our team has been working on like doing 3-way split tro strategies for like 2 or 3 years now, and to like very mixed results. Not at all doing a great job with it, but 1 is not enough. This particular map seems like the most favorable map I've ever seen for 3-way split tro. And Asmo, as you alluded to, you guys don't have like the best trowers. We have good trowers and also a deep trowing roster. We have like 3 or 4 capable trowers, right? So we were trying to like really abuse that in some kind of way against you guys. So that's why we picked this. And the key to doing any kind of like split tro is that the advantage of doing split tro always is by putting arty pieces with each one of those split tros to set up those tro arty. I call them tro arty pushes, so that you build that synergy where the trower tries to force the enemy melee to clump up and the arty can hit it, or the arty can force the enemy to spread out and the tro can kick it. Very efficient way of killing things. So that's the idea for us here. And we still get fetch, because fetch are still pretty strong. We actually were able to set up the squad such that the trowers had 2 fetch each, or at least 2 of the 3 trowers had 2 fetch each on the flanks. So they could set up their own tro arty pushes without any other arty support. They could just go off by themselves and do offensive work, which I think worked out well. And then we get just a few dwarfs because, they can do some damage if Tro tries to kick them. They're kind of just tough to deal with, especially if you're on high ground. They can still actually defend against threat fetch with the high ground. So
Yeah, there was a moment where my Tro had full capability to just kick apart Ratking, but because it was dwarves instead of fetch, like I couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if he got fetch there, I would have very early just dominated that flank. I mean, I still beat it, but
yeah, and the counter to that
probably dwarf versus fetch thing.
It takes a little longer, but the counter to that is to just stand your Tro in front of his dwarf while your fetch get in range, right? So that he.
Oh yeah, that's what I did. But
yeah.
I mean, it would have been if it were fetch instead of dwarves seconds earlier. Earlier,
yeah.
I could have killed him.
But otherwise, it's still a pretty heavy melee trade for us, and it's going to be a 3-way split. It's symmetrical, so it's the armies are mostly split up evenly on the flanks, but there is one Trower middle, which is myself, with just like 12 Zerks, a Tro, and a Dwarf. And the idea here for us is to pick one flank to go offensive on and pick the other side to go defensive on. Whichever side your Trowers commit to is the one side we're going to try to defend. And then my Trowing squad middle is just trying to kind of like reinforce the side that's being aggressed with whatever side's defending. I will support it, reinforce it, or possibly try to get into your guys' backfield. So that was the plan on our end. What was your guys' plan, Asmo?
I feel like this was a rough economic strat for sure. Like out there idea. This was like sort of a team strat. But we thought you guys would send artery mid. Maybe not all of it, but at least like some, right? So we were figuring of doing a massive maul, Zerk rush mid with the trowel and pick off whatever artery you sent mid. And yeah, if you guys didn't have stuff for us to kill there, then we're instantly going aggressive and getting your backfield. But we did not think that you guys had nothing mid that realistically could do anything to. And like this game was like pure mid. Like I'm surprised this game was close, like even a little bit,
Yeah,
because
I agree.
it was freaking it was panic. It was
Yeah.
panic like mid and early game. It's like okay, myth then stinks is basically what it came down to. It's like we just had to make decisions on the fly to even make it a game.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you're talking about rushing mid on a map that's got one flag mid, so that's kind of an out there
Well-
strategy when all of the flags are on the edges. If you had just committed to rushing an edge or something, it could have. I mean, the rush isn't a bad idea, honestly, with how many melee there are. You probably could have overloaded a flank.
Yeah, your trade is not terrible. I am surprised it went as close as it did somewhat as well. We'll have to see who on our team died really badly, because I don't think I died that badly. I might have taken a little bit too much damage when I was killing melee, but
There was one moment where all three of your tro went south, and I completely missed the call if someone made it, and our south just got kicked apart.
I think I
Just
might have made
and
that
my-
call. I'm not 100% positive, but if I did,
I mean,
make it,
if
it
you
was
did,
very,
I just
it was
didn't-
not it was not very
didn't hear it,
emphasized
is what
very
happened.
well, though. I will say
Nope.
that. Yeah.
If someone said it, it was like, "Hey, three tro going
Yeah,
south."
it's
you know?
one of
And then
those
I just didn't
calls
hear
that
it,
should
and
have been
then
made 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Did you guys
and
consider?
I'm sitting there. Oh, go ahead.
Did you guys consider a white here at all?
No. Mm-mm.
I tested
No.
out some white stuff. You can sink it under the bridge and blow it up and hit everything on top of it if it
Yeah,
crosses.
yeah, I've seen that before. Yep. Yeah, I'm aware of that. It's just, I guess
It's like a
you
gimmick.
could try to do
Whites
it.
are one of those things that, like, whites are super. You just have to hope that a melee goes near them at some critical moment in the game for you to get the point. It's
Yeah.
not worth relying on a white. If you're willing to just
My
spend
only
3 points
my
to
only
gamble
question,
on it,
Asmo,
sure.
is does
but-
it do a lot of damage too? Because if it only pusses the shit, then
No, it doesn't do like full damage, but it does like significant amount still.
okay.
That-
Yeah,
that
so
wasn't-
that's
that
not a
wasn't
bad
ori-
idea. You could sink 2 whites under those 2 home bridges, and
That's what
defend 'em.
originally had when
Yeah.
I was doing it solo, and then we did a team thing. We switched it completely.
That's not a bad idea.
I mean,
No,
yeah,
we did not think of that.
You could
That's a
literally
good
trade
idea.
away 2 Zerks or a Maul and a Zerk or whatever.
that's not a
and
bad
do
idea at
whites,
all.
and it-
I don't
Alright,
like
you
that
ready?
strat though. No, hang on. I don't like the strat that you guys did though, Asmo, and you don't like it either. I know, but for a couple reasons, just for anybody watching this. Number one is you're committing a lot of shit middle, but there's no flags middle except the one, right?
Yeah, that's
all
what I
the
said.
flags. All the flags are on the flanks, so you're not. Whenever I look at that, like whenever I look at flag rally, especially, I'm always building the strategy of directions where people go, where the flags are. That's super important. King of the map too. And so yeah, there's only that one flag middle. It's not that important. And so you guys end up like going middle, and like your tro end up taking a lot of time to make a move, and it's like a bunch of wasted time that we're consolidating a stronger and stronger position on the flanks to get closer to more flags getting taken, right? So
I feel like we put too many eggs in one basket too, because
yeah.
this map has Fetch and Dwarf Heroes, arguably the 2 strongest artery units in the game.
yes,
So if you're not mid, like if the thing doesn't work out perfectly that we're planning for, those small bridges, like yeah, we're forced to push and scramble at that point, but you're pushing across these tiny bridges against the strongest artery in the game.
yeah. And the other thing is, even if we put Artie middle, which I did, I had a dwarf middle. It wasn't a lot of Artie, obviously, but the thing is, I can scout your middle soon enough and still be able to retreat my Artie to behind the bridge. You know what I mean? It's like very hard to actually be able to pick it off unless I scout very poorly or make some kind of mistake. So those 2 things, I don't think it was a great plan. That is it is a plan that can be used on other maps, like just going heavy, strong melee, pushing for mid control early in the game. But like, there needs to be more flags in the middle where the mid control like matters more. And middle control almost always does matter because it's the fastest way to get anywhere on the map is by having control of the middle. But there's some maps that just don't there's some maps that actually nerf the middle a little bit. And
I don't think it made sense this game. I feel like it's
yeah,
nerfed.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like you're saying, the bridges are small. There's barely enough way to cross. Like you can get stuck there pretty easy with nothing to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And no flags there other than the one.
All right, you guys ready to start this one?
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
This was Ephemeral's first game trolling this tournament, so it was kind of
Is
just
it?
like a
Oh yeah.
finally this is all or nothing map, sudden death, high stakes.
I don't know how he did,
Uh,
but I feel like when you guys have
Compared to
Sam
heavy
as your
hitting
third
rolls.
trower, that's a big advantage to do the 3 trial split. I just feel like he has really good trow instincts.
Who's that?
Ephemeral?
No, Samuel. If he was there, I
Oh,
think
Sam.
he'd
Yeah,
be
yeah,
better.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Sam.
Yeah, he would be our third
Yeah, I
trower if
think
he was here, probably. Yeah.
probably it's still. I mean, I think it's still like with Sam there. I mean, GKG, Sam, Ephemeral, and Paris could all really get the
Yeah.
tro in any situation.
We have a
and
very deep
I'm
melee
pretty
and
confident
trolling
in it.
roster. Yeah.
I think maybe Sam, yeah, in that situation. Also, if so, then Ephemeral would get some fetch on one side and Paris on the other.
So yeah, you can
Yeah,
see
so here,
Asmo right
Norm
here. That
is
my
small
dwarf is
horde
already
mid
running
and just
away.
I want to
nothing.
know how this game
Like
was
your
closed.
mall.
Because look at the map right
Oh,
now.
you have
This looks like a
nothing
disaster.
north. Oh, nothing north. I didn't even realize y'all were so light on the north flag there.
So okay, they got 3. We got 7. Okay, so LSO, we tagged 7. Did you call for your flank to move up their defense to the flag 7?
Yeah, I left Dak on 6.
Okay, well,
I mean, Funk and I were pushing still.
that wasn't part of the plan, but yeah, Asmo, we were trying to like move our flag D up a flag if we got control of one of those.
I saw all of this horde of malls there, and I didn't want it just to go through freely, so I told Dak to hang back. But I didn't see you coming down on it.
Yeah,
This is me making decisions also while trolling and fetching.
Yeah,
I looked back, saw a mall horde, told Dak to chill out, and went back to meleeing. Now here, I should have said, "Okay, Dak."
If Dak's with you defending
Now-
that flag, now you're able to defend him easier. So
Yeah, but I just didn't want that stuff to go. I didn't want that stuff to go freely into the backfield. Now that we push, I should have said, "Dak, come with me."
So Adren's gonna like. I finally found like we were confused where your tro went, Asmo, for like a good minute there. I end up pushing deep in the middle and find Adren's tro. At this point, I'm thinking he's gonna run me down, run my Zergs down, and I was like, okay.
That's why I'm chasing you right now.
Yeah. I see you. And then he peeled off, and I was like, okay, I don't know what he's doing, but.
And right here, he switches to south, and I have no idea. I was completely clueless that he's coming for me.
Yeah. And then at this point,
Which
I'm
I still
setting up my
managed to
tro
push
already
up
pushes on Thal. I'm trying to just try and pick apart Thal with my dwarf. So
I'm assuming that John figured we're going to lose the game, getting flagged if he doesn't peel off. I guess is the call there.
LSO's making a good push. F's making a good push.
Yeah, I managed to get to 8. So yeah, right here after the tro get across this bridge is when I notice that they're here, and it's just way too late for me to coordinate a defense against them.
And that's fine.
I mean, Ratking,
a 3-tro push is always going to be able to like do some big damage somewhere. It's hard to prevent that from happening, so it's fine. As long as our plan was always like do as much damage as you can to the tro and then save our tro, right? So at least
I think literally right about here is when I noticed that there's 3 tro behind us. Like it was this late. Yeah, right when I moved my Zergs. Like, oh crap, there's 3 tro right behind us. Yeah. This is really bad.
And Funk didn't really defend himself at all there.
No, Funk had no idea either.
Now we're getting good damage on your guys' tro though.
The reason you guys didn't just absolutely destroy us here is your north could have ended this game so long ago. Why isn't your north aggressive?
Well,
if you remember your tro were north, we were waiting to see where your tro would commit before pushing that side, right? So I'm not sure. I'll have to see. Maybe F was too slow too for whatever reason. I'm not sure, but I think that's might have been why he paused. I'm not sure. So I'm picking apart your malls and Zergs.
Flag 1 if you guys were aggressive up there, and then the game would have just been over. Oh dang! You had it. Did you see that on flag 1?
Say again.
What?
Flag
no.
1?
On flag 1.
Yeah. So Ephemeral kicked Dwarf Hero that we had that had stats and like 5 of our mauls clumped on the dwarf, and it killed all the mauls in one
Oh
kick.
wow.
Yeah, I think Ephemeral did it on purpose. Ephemeral also said when they pushed that flag, they had a lag spike, so it could have been an accidental, dwarf hero kick. But yeah,
Percentages
here
are very even
we're up,
still.
or we're down percentage, but we're up on flags. We have victory imminent. All we need to do is defend.
Yeah, but we're down in tro
So
health too.
me being able to
so-
push and hit 8, bring down the tro there. Ephemeral was able to push through, almost take the home, almost won the game. Was 3 kicks away.
The
Very
third,
close. But yeah, we're down in tro health. We played very aggressive and lost a bunch of health. But
mhm.
right here, I'm calling Ephemeral. Calling Ephemeral to just run home right now from this. In the north, what's in the east? Oh, the spiders or the mall? Oh yeah, the melee. Took a bad melee against Paris.
I think we're desperate to get flags, or we're gonna lose the game, and I was wrong. I should have saved that and let everything push.
Yeah,
that was bad,
bad melee. Paris really sweeps that melee.
Yeah.
So right here, I'm calling Ephemeral to just run home, but they're sitting here.
He's having a hard time because those
bit,
two tro are gonna try, but he's chasing it too much for sure. Yeah, I mean he shouldn't be chasing it that
Yeah,
much.
That's what I'm saying. Just like if it tries to
why
kick
is he
you,
going
turn
so-
and shadow it off.
Yeah,
But
he's going way too much forward.
no,
I'm not sure why.
for a full minute or two, I was calling him back
Because it's a huge
he's come back.
danger that the troll will get his Zerks tied up and wait for like a dwarf or more melee to come.
And look here,
it.
Wayward One's bringing Zerks too, so
Yeah.
it's about to get even worse.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to buy time for that fetch to get back, but I don't think that fetch is super necessary. I was just saying, like, get back, but it didn't happen. Everyone else got back, and we're all consolidated here at the home. Kind of in a dangerous situation for Ephemeral, but everyone else is pretty safe. So really, at this point, we have victory imminent. We're up 10%. All we need to do is just turtle up on the home flag and get ready for that inevitable in-game rush. That's going to be your only saving grace.
I guess F did save his fetch, but at the cost of a lot of Zerks. So
yeah, a lot of Zerks, and he also.
And he didn't really do any damage with those Zerks.
Some tro health, but
not much.
No, and now they're gonna die too. Yeah, this really bad. I like I said, for 2 minutes I was sitting there saying, just come home, but all was just inevitably ignored. So now evens. So really, the gamble there was like what, 10, 12 Zerks or one fetch. I take the 10 or 12 Zerks.
So they left three mauls on flag D. I was always curious how much flag D you guys were gonna end up leaving on that last flag, just in case we had something.
Yeah, very minimal.
I think we end up leaving 2. I think we take one more of those offensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in case. At that point, you could just leave none or one, really. Like.
Asmo, the other reason I don't like this strategy that you guys did was there's no Artie supporting your tro push anywhere. That's a very powerful synergy you never want to really give up. You don't want to just like do a pure melee rush with your tro somewhere. You end up taking way more tro damage than you would if you had some Artie support with it. So now it didn't turn out that way for you guys in this game. Adren conserved his tro health and stuff like that, but like in general, statistically, that's gonna be how that works, right? So.
Let's see, you have a bunch of people with very low percentage. I think here is a situation where you can redistribute units to be more efficient and, I don't know, not give Ratking a tro. But, I mean, Thal could do it, or yeah, I guess Thal's down there. Yeah, Thal could be your other tro.
Yeah, again, Asmo, right here, because you guys had time to like coordinate this last push somewhere, right? I would have been looking to do it, get all your tro on the same side with your dwarfs to set up a tro arty push, and that's like the way you have to kind of do it. The tro on the north side there, where Adren's in a bad position, quite honestly. He's in the wrong position. He should be over where your dwarfs are at.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because the dwarfs will force our enemy, our melee, to spread out, and then he can kick it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to get every advantage you can with the hill that we have. Is pretty much just set up for us to win.
Because you guys did have, like, yeah, you're going uphill, but you did have 3 dwarfs. At least one of those probably would have been able to get some shots in to force our melee to spread out. And you guys did have a tro health advantage.
Yeah, that one super green Tro in the north is really scarily green.
Yeah.
All those Zerks too. I mean,
Could've
all of our
abused it.
Zerks have some sort of damage on them too.
I mean, the percentages are even. You guys had a Tro health advantage. Yeah, you're going uphill, but I do actually think this push was winnable, or at least a lot more effective than it ended up being. As you see,
it wasn't close. I was sort of surprised that it wasn't even
Me too.
semi-close after
Me
it was
too.
all said and done.
I was surprised as well. Yep.
Well, if you watch, I mean, Adrenaline kind of just suicides into me. I definitely beat the crap out of his Tro, even with the health
This is why
advantage he had.
I always call it out, because you can see even Adren doesn't understand this, and even you, Asmo. I think you can need to improve. You can improve your eye for the game and for this with setting up the Tro Arty pushes. I see so many players don't see it. You gotta put the Tro together with the Arty, always.
And look, in the north, I have that one fetch with me. It's going to make a big difference when we engage. Like on the north side here, I have that one fetch that will give me that Tro Arty synchronization. Because when Adrenaline goes to a commit against me, Ephemeral can just sit there and shoot into his Zerks, forcing him to spread. And then I can melee Adrenaline. Then GKG has fetch behind him too, so yeah, we have Tro with artillery on either side of our hill.
I guess you guys wanted to like do this surround effect, but I don't actually think it mattered. We only had one dwarf, so the height advantage only helped our one dwarf. That's not an overwhelming advantage, really. The fetch aren't advantaged by the height at all, right? So, yeah, you guys should have just stayed all rushed together on one side of the hill, not doing a surround like this.
Yeah, this just ends up not being close at all.
Yeah.
I don't know what Adrenaline was doing there.
Yeah, me neither. It's really awful positioning and just
really bad melee there.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, we did. After that, I was like, great, this is going to be down to the wire. And then after we won, I was like, what? We still have 40% left. What?
This is one of those things. Like, yeah, you're seeing like a surround. Like, it's like instinct. It's how it's been done for 20 years. You like have a bunch of melee, you surround it, right? Always. But like, actually, if you nitpick it apart, like we only have the one dwarf that has the height advantage. Like, you could just straight up rush it from one end with your Tro advantage and everything else.
I mean, in hindsight, I think we consolidate everything to one side, and then we just rush the spiders from the opposite side. Spiders aren't even to like rush; it's just to distract the fetch so they turn on them and keep distance.
Yeah. I like my stats on this. Like I
EKG and I just kicked apart the.
Yeah, I wish I had killed Thal a little bit more efficiently with my Tro health, but...
well, you're unhappy with a 27-12?
I mean, I had him dead to rights, though. I had like a Tro Arty push. It's hard to micro the dwarf with the Tro a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, no. Same with Tro and Fetch, too. So I think we both did pretty well for having Tro and artillery.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen F play that game a little bit better, for sure.
Yeah, it was just ignoring my calls at the end there. I was just calling them back.
Par had a great game, I would say. He defended the home flag. Par really impresses me with defending flags. It's like he's fucking 5 balls every time with defending flags. He's so fucking good at it. He's always in the right.
If you've ever seen his POV, he doesn't stop his camera. It's kind of like, it kind of makes me sick watching it from how much it moves around.
It's why it's like one of the key reasons why I wanted to put him on our team when we finally got him, because like playing against him the year before, I was like, God damn, he's so fucking good at defending flags. Fuck.
Yeah, he'll see that push when it happens.
Well, I think Paris. I think Paris is like easily one of the best micro players in the game. If that dude could literally just like eliminate the tactical mistakes of pushing too far, he's not supposed to get in position, stuff like that. Not that he's bad, but he makes it too often. He would definitely be like a 5-baller.
He has flashes.
Yeah, he lets himself get a little loose sometimes, but he is an amazing player. Right. I mean, I definitely have a lot of love for him. I mean, we won those 2v2s, 3v3s. We won draft tournaments together, World Cups now. I mean, he's a great teammate, all around, solid player. He's one of my favorite teammates too. He's really, really good at being. There's great cohesion with him. He's communicative. He's really great at defense, and he's also really good at knowing where to be when it matters.
Yeah,
like
his positioning is great.
When someone's threatening our team, he can position himself really well. On some of those maps, like I don't remember what it's called, but the one that was like Drowned Empire, Pitiful Aftermath. yeah, when he doesn't really have a real direction or place to go or a goal of any sort, he does kind of wander around and get lost. But as soon as there's a flag under threat or an enemy flag that needs to be under threat, he's a straight killer.
Yep, totally agree.
All right, I'm running out of time
Last
here,
one,
so
last one.
I think I'll do this last
The last one that
sudden
counts.
death game. I mean, if you wanted to go back and do the other games, but this is the last game that matters. Yeah,
Are you Eastern
I'm
time?
kind of a little.
Also.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
I should have been
alright.
done like an hour ago.
All right.
But we're good. I mean, we can do this last one, and I'll be fine.
Asmo, we can finish up the last two if you want. It's up to you, but.
Whatever. Yeah, we can do it.
All right. I fucked up that a little bit. Okay. Real quick, Asmo. It sounds like we had pretty similar ideas, slight differences, but do you want to just explain what your guys' strategy was?
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost. I would have preferred that the restart never happened because I'm sure we had the same idea you had. Is when the opposite teams is sandwiched, get freaking fastly and crush that dude.
Yeah. Yep.
Which was the situation before the restart.
Yep.
But with this, we did do a difference. You guys went like all out pus, and we did like.
Oh yeah, you guys did not do
pus.
enough pus. Yeah. Okay.
You have one team without any. You have one team with like 6 and one team with 2, and then we had 7, 7, and 8. So
Yeah, I think there's a little difference. I don't think one's really stronger than the other. To be honest, I did think about the plus today.
I can see the.
Yeah, we have like 22 pus.
Yeah,
to your
I don't
8.
disagree with the way you guys set up your trade. It's interesting. I didn't even think of it, and you might be right. It might be more viable actually. But
I don't know.
Ultimately, you guys.
I think if
didn't
you're gonna do a
execute it
melee
properly.
rush, you need at least a pus or 2. You know.
Well, ultimately, you guys.
I don't
didn't
like the
execute
idea
it
of just all
properly,
melee.
and also like the Zerks just tear apart the stakes pretty well too. I just feel.
Oh yeah, they destroy.
So yeah, so that's the thing, and the pus can like the Zerks are so powerful on this, and like if you can spend one pus killing one Zerk, even like it's probably almost worth it. You know what I mean? Like it's getting that Zerk advantage kind of is crucial. So.
I wouldn't go as far as say 1 pus 1 Zerk, but pus definitely do add a factor that, like, you know, if you're just rushing us with melee, all we have to do is shoot your melee. But if you're rushing us with melee and pus, it adds that extra layer of fetch defense that you have to really be worried about.
It's just an interesting
it takes at least
idea.
2 zaps to hit a goal, at least 2 or 3 zaps to hit a Zerk, and then now you got pus coming around, a Zerk's hitting. It makes defending your fetch a lot harder.
It's an interesting idea. I definitely think it could work. The way the surround and the melee rush that you guys end up trying to do has to be like super on point for it to be able to pull it off. You know what I mean?
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It definitely was not.
It came down to like a coin flip scenario. To be honest, at least we'll see if we watch it. That's what it felt like in real time. Whatever. We can play.
Felt really close.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start it.
I mean, it looks like the big difference is we went with 2 packs with 3 fetch, and you just have 1. So we have twice as many fetch as you do. We have like 22 pus to your 8, but you have significant more amount of melee, especially in Stygians. So it's kind of the difference.
Yeah,
so when
the general
we
idea
go line up to fight,
the general idea for both teams is to like converge, everybody group up on one side of the map as quickly as possible, right? And it's allies. Whenever all allies games play out this way, you know, you have to like either pinch one side together, or in this case, since we're all on the same side, then everybody's got to get together, otherwise you're gonna get isolated. So
that's why we decided that, GKG pitched the idea that there would be 2 groups with fetch and one that was just melee, and so we were going to see who was the farthest team from the others, and they would just trade just melee and then come link up with us. So we still had that fetch power, but
that's right. Yep, that was our.
You know, if Paris's team here had fetch, it would be too slow to link up with us. But still, here now we have double as many fetch as you do, and melee was still able to link up with us. So I think that comes into factor there. Those extra fetch.
Asmo, the way I'm looking at this, did you guys get max Zerks? Oh, I guess you did, because you got so few pus that you were able to get max Zerks and more sticks. Is that right?
Oh yeah. There are
Okay, all right.
considerably more
Others
Stygians.
than Dreads, yeah.
Asmo, I think you might have a point with you don't have to go max pus. I was kind of torn on that as well, but I do think with your team specifically in this game, I would have at least gotten like 4 pus. I think is a minimum I would have gotten personally. So
So the idea behind this is for allies, we wanted to figure out how we could get as much plus as we want with the most efficient trade points. So we figured the most efficient way to do that is to have one team focus on plus. Maybe we should have the Ratking's team get more.
to save the J-Man, but I just don't think it matters because like you can use those heals to heal up some red Zerks too. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and start it.
I think that Asmo, that your squad, if I were you with that rush, I probably would have gotten a couple less Stygians and some more pus because it's good to have pus with rushing melee.
It just feels
in
more
that
powerful
situation.
if it had some pus with it, don't you think?
I think so too. You can at the minimum freeze the enemy melee that you're hitting and add that extra layer of threat to the fetch.
I get having some Stygs to like just throw out as the first wave to eat the fetch shots, fine. But you only need like 5 or 6 of them. You don't need any more than that. So
yeah, 12 is it just seems excessive to me. But
let's go ahead and start.
Well, I think it's yeah, exactly.
3, 2, 1, go.
So I think both of our teams pretty much do the same thing and just get straight west here. Yeah, so Ephemeral decided it would be a good idea to do like a feint on your flank here.
Yeah,
but you didn't have any fetch for that to like really take full effect. Like if you had fetch, it would look like we were trying to rush you there. But you were already just booking it west, so it really didn't have much of an effect.
And then, well, it had the fact that it told us immediately what you guys were doing, at least. We're like, okay, we knew the fight was happening in the northwest right off the bat. We're like, okay, yep, everybody converge on the northwest. That's where the fight's going to be. So,
yeah, so Funk and I here just need to back up. I told him a couple times. Like, we're just straight backing up. I saw Ratking almost immediately, and I had a bit of a panic moment because there's already 2 teams here. But by your team just running straight into the west, it kind of corners it. Your team is kind of cornered over there now. And Paris team's pus is super slow to get there as well, since it's just so far away.
I really want to see, I really want to see this rush from your team's perspective, Asmo, because it definitely felt like it wasn't as effective of a surround or coordinated in sync as it should have been.
And look, it looks like they're kind of pressuring me before you can even get there. Like, I don't know. It seems like your team should have waited on you a little bit more. Or Ratking could have tried to make a bit more space middle first, because your team kind of effectively corners itself from the get-go, and a rush is better with multiple angles. So,
in the end, we'll get to that point, though. Even though it starts out like this, we're not rushing from one side when the thing actually happens. We do push and control bed before it happens.
okay. I see that developing now. Yeah, I would have done that a little earlier, but I guess as long as you get to do it. But we get to push Adrenaline into the corner here with our fetch advantage.
So yeah, at this point, we're our whole team's together, and like I like fighting in this kind of restricted area with the deep water cutting things off a little bit. So that's why we're pushing a little bit, trying to get a fight or at least get some damage. So yeah, you see Paris. Paris is defending our flank as he should be. That's very great. Paris NF. Okay, I mean,
bad pus from Wings there.
Wings bad
just pusses 3 Zerks for no reason.
No follow-up damage. Yeah, that was a bad pus.
No reason. It's just
here.
Don't get so pus eager.
I get some damage on your guys' Stygs at this point.
And we get to push. Shad's protecting your flank here.
Yeah, Asmo,
look, you're just
your force, which is huge, is just kind of confused as to what to do, and it's out of the fight right now.
Yeah, on this map, Fetch can get a single zap in on a goal, and that stopped me from pussing Adrenaline. A single zap killed my goal. I would have been able to throw right there
Asmo, I
on
think
any
if you
other
had
fetch
literally
map.
just spread your melee out and just went in earlier, you would have been fine. I think you hesitated too much there because of the pus. You're trying to, but like you see how your whole team is out of sync. Our fetch are engaged and you're not there. You have to like be already in the fight on our fetch, so you're stuck in that choke. So yeah, you had to have your team, like Adren's team, back off more until you guys were all the way behind.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize they were on the full fetch fire at this point.
Yeah, like there's a greater percentage of your team out of the fight right now. Paris is tied up more than his fair share of your guys' forces out of the fight. So we have a superior advantage where we're at.
We're up in percentage right now, though.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it.
That's
Everybody
true.
pause it real quick. Let's check that real quick.
Okay, what are you at?
I'm at 737.
Okay, I'm at 33, so I guess I was a little quicker somehow.
I might have slowed down a little bit or something, but
Yeah, we're actually like sort of semi-significantly up in percentage up to this point, even with all the fighting that happened over there.
okay.
Yeah, but I like our position better with the
I
4
really
fetch
don't.
here versus.
Yeah, is the percentages that different really? Let's see.
We have like a 10% if you have it all up or something.
It's about a. Yeah, actually, it looks like we have 10% more than one of their teams and 10% less than one of their teams. It's actually not too far off. It's maybe about 15% different if you added it all up. Which out of 300%, it's not really too huge of a disadvantage.
So, okay, that's interesting. Where do you think that happened? Because I felt like our fetch engagement
Right there,
was-
Shad died completely defending you. There's like 0% left.
Okay.
Although Thal died completely too, he had less stuff.
Wings is still alive.
Punk died a considerable bit.
Because I feel like
Yeah, Paris' team is
my team's
alive, Wings
mostly
is-
dead. Like we're like the one that took the most damage. But like if you look at the stats at the end, I did a lot of damage. So like I felt like I did plenty of work.
Yeah, Shad died defending you. I don't know whether he did it well or not. But
He
that's
might
what
not
happened.
have. Yeah.
Don't think so.
We're still
but-
up in fetch though. Is the other thing? We're still up in fetch.
And we're pushing Adren now.
We're still
with the
getting
fetch
more.
advantage,
We're still getting
so-
more hits in. So like our fetch are still being
yeah,
getting
even
more
though-
free hits.
Even though the percentage is different now, we still have the capability of doing more damage
I started
until you
again,
rush
by the
again.
way. I started again.
Oh, well,
My
oh,
bad.
what? Okay, that would have been nice to
Oh, we started?
know.
My bad.
Yeah,
714. 714.
I'm
Okay,
at,
you're way up there.
so I'll speed up a little
I
bit.
totally
Okay,
forgot to call that out.
at like 7-11 now. 10,
Okay.
9.
All right, I'm going to 7-Eleven. All right, are you guys ready? Ready to go again? 3, 2.
Wait, okay.
You ready, Asmo?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so now I know this rush is coming in from back. Great pus there. I mean, our fetch. I just feel like our fetch got a lot of hits in. A lot of hits in.
See, let's pause it if you can. 641 is where I'm at.
Okay.
Oh, this was
641.
so chaotic
To
too.
me, this was the game deciding play. And Adrena explained it afterwards, but his fetch back up here when we're fully
Yeah,
engaged.
that's a huge blunder. Our melee is turtled up more because we're defending. His fetch need to be right on top of that. Why is he backing off? That's
He
insane.
was on them, and he backed off.
That's
And
huge
he doesn't have
blunder.
a lead pressure on him. So
Yeah.
At this point, I think it's a coin flip. That's what I was talking about. Like, I think it's a little coin flip right now.
Now Paris can counter rush here
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he's way far away.
This explanation, it could happen. I wasn't paying attention enough here. He said he was sitting on small plus, and so after he was going to get zapped, you get frozen. That's what he told me.
Oh my
So,
god, that's a
I don't
terrible
know.
reason. Like he's giving up the whole game over it. Like wow.
I thought,
For what?
Right
I
here.
couldn't tell what you said,
but
Asmo.
they're still backing up. Like, to me, that's game right there.
Adren said he was standing on top of a small pus, so he wanted to back up and zap it. But like his fetch had to be right there. Like this is the moment for his
50-50
fetch to
fight
zap.
defense.
Yeah.
That's a
He
full engage.
cares about the most minor things sometimes.
He would
It's
have
kinda
won the game.
insane.
He would have won the game right there if he had done that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it was literally 50.
He would have won the game and the whole tournament right there if he had pushed in. Because even though I got plenty of damage, I don't know what like we fucked up somewhere. I'm not sure where. Because yeah, it did feel like we were behind somehow right here. I was like, I was telling Paris, like, I was like, back up, dude. Like, their fetch are going to zap you. And yeah, that was right about the same time Adren backs off. So, like, saved us. And then we end up just zapping at the rest of your melee, and then Paris is able to counter rush, right? So
No, yeah, I thought we had the game going. There was a point during that rush where we killed one of your fetch, so we had the 3-2 advantage, and he was still engaged. I was like, this is game over, because he has no freaking melee pressure on him.
Yeah.
All your melee's group, like, we're gonna win. And
yeah.
then,
Let's look at the percentages really quick. So Paris 58, which is a little bit more than your 52. LSO 45, which is a little bit more than Adren's 34, 9. I mean, the percentages are pretty even, I would say.
I mean, I did a pretty good job of keeping my stuff alive. So yeah, although Adrenaline could have pushed up and pressured and got some good shots there, I think
we would have backed off.
It still
too.
was a. Yeah, we still would have backed up, and I'm very good at keeping my stuff alive.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it was a win there, but I'm saying like it's a coin flip.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, Adrenaline should have been more aggressive, and it definitely would have been much closer if he came in and started zapping. We wouldn't have won with like Paris won with 37, and I had 30% left, and Wings had like we wouldn't have won with like half of our armies each. You know.
Yeah. Again, this goes back to the whole concept of. It's the same concept as Tro already pushes. It's just melee already push in this case, right? Like you're forcing the enemy melee to clump up to get a melee fight, and you got Artie right there ready to abuse it, and he didn't capitalize on it because I don't think he really understands the concept well enough. So yeah, that was a huge blunder. I don't think it's like for sure he would have won everything, because I mean he would have if Paris and assuming Paris and Funk just leave their Zerks there ready for him to zap, but I think that's a strong assumption, right? So
yeah, it's incredibly.
It would have definitely been definitely you guys would have still been in the game, and like it would have been a super close game. Like he definitely needed to push in there. Wow. All right, are we ready to start again?
I think I'm gonna have to head out here.
Okay.
But I mean that was all the decisive matches there. But if you two want to go over the last two,
all right. Yep.
So.
All right. Also, good chat.
Yeah. Asmo, good games, man. It was a really tough series. I think even though, I mean, the score is highly in our favor, a lot of the games did come down to the wire, to the seconds, to the flag. So, I mean, it was a really tough, nail-biting series, I felt like. You had some pretty good strats, and your team played pretty well. So, I mean, just want to say good games, and better luck next time. And ignore Shad.
Yeah, Shad's got a hard on for you. We keep telling him to chill the fuck out.
Oh, you should have heard Shad when we won. Oh yeah, little buddy. Yeah, little Asmo buddy. Yeah.
Okay,
Anyways.
You can take his one.
All right. See ya.
Yep. See you, man. All right. Let's start this, Asmo. 3, 2, 1.
Give me 1 second first.
Okay. You're still at 641, right?
Oh, you're still finishing that game? You're at the pause? I finished that game.
You finished that one? All right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to play it out. It's almost done anyway. So
I'll
play it out for everybody here. So, yeah, the Stigs might pick off a fetch there. Yep, it did, but the rest of the fetch are still alive. Now, again, here, you guys got 3 fetch to our 2. Now here, oh, man. Ooh. Yeah, this is, I remember, I wish, here, I'm going to share my screen real quick, Asmo.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
So right here, I was screaming at Paris to spread his fucking melee out, because Adren actually he did have an opportunity to zap Paris's clumped Zerks there pretty good. Do you see this?
Yep.
Like, Adren's facing the Puskulls. Adren is just so defensive minded, it's like driving me crazy. And he's like so concerned about his ratios and keeping his units alive at the cost of losing games. Like, it's just like he just needs to zap these Zerks matter more than his fetch almost at this point. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's now granted, we do have a pretty serious Zerk advantage over you guys right here, so it still would have been close, I think. But he still needs he needs to zap those Zerks. It's kind of crazy that he's going for these Puskulls here. That goal didn't even have a puss. He's just like, yeah. And now he's counter rushed. So he was full on defending those puss goals that during that engagement there. But now he ends up getting melee rushed, so it doesn't matter. So he's a great ratio player if it can work out for ratios, but often the game doesn't play out that way. And that's the game, and I'll just call it there because the rest is just us tagging it out. Yeah, that was painful to watch Adren's fetching there, to be honest. Looking at the stats here, like, I'm not sure what my team did, like my other teammates. It looks like Wings did a little bit of damage. Shad kind of like vanished into thin air somehow. I don't remember what happened with his units. I felt like I did plenty of damage with my stuff, but we ended up dying pretty early. So
I didn't see exactly what happened, but he had a bunch of melee near when you're fetching. They got zapped. I'm pretty sure it's happened at some point. But
yeah, that sounds about right. I didn't see it, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, Adren's got some good stats, but like it's just like he missed a couple key he just backs up way too much all the time. Yeah, just too defensive minded. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Looks like Rat's team had melee, right?
And the plus, yeah.
And Puss, yeah. Looks like they didn't do much work. Looks like your team did a better job. Mark did pretty good with whatever the hell you gave him. It looks like to me.
Yeah, me and Mark had an even split, so both had half Zergs, half Stigs.
He did a lot more work than you with the same units.
Really
then,
good
yeah,
he did player,
great.
actually.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying though about how your guys' force, like Rat and you and Rat, were kind of like out of sync with Adren's force over there.
Yeah, I feel like we could have set that up much better.
Adren had to just back up more while you guys finished getting in position. You guys weren't quite in position, and you would have gotten into position. We wouldn't have been able to stop you. We had no fetch over there. You had superior melee, so you would have just been able to bully your way into getting whatever position you guys wanted. Really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just had to like play it slower, be more patient. I think before pulling the trigger on it. We were playing aggressive because we were trying to bait that fight, and you guys kind of like Adren kind of gave it to us, I guess, or his team did. Thal, I guess, maybe did.
I think the allies caused a little chaos for some people that weren't used to it, so it's hard to track everything.
Yeah, it is a very chaotic game. Yeah. All right, I'll wrap that one up there. We'll go on to the next one. We're almost done with this. Just 2 more games.
And pause that 1 second.
All right, I'm paused too. So, yeah, explain what your guys' strat was.
So, we maxed fast melee minus you can trade, I want to say, for like 18 goals here. There's only 10 plus. We traded for 12. We had 2 plusless ones for taggers. And instead of getting the 6 extra goals, we took away 1 north. So we got 3 instead of most people get 4 on this. And got souls. And this is actually one of the few maps I do like souls on based on the trade because I feel like 6 plusless goals don't do much on here with how much fast strong melee there is and like Thrall Elite. And so I figure the souls would actually get value by finishing off blocks that get passed or those dwarfs since they're just normal dwarfs that don't have much range other than their own defense. But I guess we're gonna run all our fast melee for the most part, diagonal into the north, and then we're gonna have lock support with them, and then we're gonna have not all, but a lot of our thrall in the south with lock support.
I'm gonna go and head and I think maybe agree with you, and I think maybe you made the better call than I did. I actually felt I'll explain our strat in a moment, and I thought it was actually a very strong strategy for us, but we lost the game clearly. And whenever you lose a game, no matter how strong you feel the strategy is, and even if people fuck up horribly, you always have to question the strategy. So I mean, yeah, like I definitely don't think Heavy Souls is correct on this, but you only got 6 there. Totally viable, absolutely. And like you said, yeah, like heavier goals are not necessarily gonna help you that much. Yeah, I agree with that as well. So you might be right about that, absolutely. So yeah, I like your guys' strat, and you guys do end up winning the game, so it makes sense. And I'll explain our strat here. It's kind of unique, and I thought of this like a year or two ago, I think, where basically it's really common on this map that teams get heavy souls. You see it all the time because yeah, okay, there's a lot of soul hills all over the map, right? You just feel like the souls can like control the mid ground and stuff from the high cliffs and everything. But it kind of assumes like a west versus east dynamic with the teams because that's how the starts are, and that's how the most of the soul hills kind of are like facing each other in that sense. They're typically facing like facing east or west. And so our idea here, as you can see, these starts are like slightly off center. So one side's shifted to one flank closer than the other. Our idea here was to like send all the fast melee to the near side and force the map to be split north-south instead of east-west, which would kind of like negate all of those soul hills because they're not really facing that direction. They're still like kind of hills, but like the terrain is basically less favorable, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes, but you're really quiet.
Yes, that's interesting. We want to split the map too, but we want to split it in the opposite way you did.
Yeah, of course, because you got souls, you want to keep it east versus west, of course. Yeah. Or is that what you were saying?
Or just like all our fast melee in the north side, and then we wanted all our slow melee on the short side. And it sounds like you did the opposite. You sent all your fast melee to the short side, and right?
It's not the direct opposite technically, because actually we kind of set everything on the same side. Like our slow stuff is on that north side too. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
Yeah. So like the slow defensive, like I always tell you, like we always defend the flags right behind our offensive force because it's just easier to reinforce it from that direction, right? It's harder to like get it isolated, it's surrounded and picked off. We can always like send reinforcements as needed. Keeps the whole team like in balance. The whole team.
So you guys almost had nothing south there, right?
Yeah. We just tag that south flag and we scout the south a little bit, and there's nothing there, and that's fine because there's no other real flags for us there. Like you'd have to go pretty far across the map to find another flag, right? So yeah, like that's the general idea that we're trying to do. And I don't think we've tried this strat like well, this is actually the first time we've like actually successfully tried it. We fucked it up once or twice before. It wasn't really our strat, but yeah. So that was the game plan we were going for. And then once we get the fast melee into the backfield, usually like it can start setting up surrounds and wrecking havoc in the backfield and everything. Ends up not working out well for us in the end, but yeah, we can. That's the general idea anyway that we were going for. Are you ready to start it, or any other comments?
No, I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, sometimes you can. It's just kind of like what you guys did on Barons Venice, where you wanted to do that archer squad on one flank to just kind of change the way the map splits. It's the same idea, right? Like there's some maps and strategies you can influence to like change the way the map traditionally splits up, which kind of changes the terrain features that are under your control and what you can do with it, right?
Yeah. So you use all those extra bustless goals for tagging? That's what I'm seeing, I think.
Yeah, we had like a dedicated goal pack on the same near flank side. And again, they're just supposed to like, I guess, in hindsight, you're kind of right. There's not a whole lot they can do, to be honest. I guess they're like a dedicated pusser. You can almost think of them more that way, but because yeah, like Gold Pack's not gonna really get fuck with any of the other melee units on this map, right? Like Huron's, Thal, and Thrall.
Yeah, it's like a unique melee set.
Yeah, they're just gonna get fucked up with that shit. So
you keep your guys' lock mid on defense because you figure you get the flag advantage with how you were setting up things, right?
Sorry, say that again.
You leave a lock on your like main defensive flag. Flag, what is that? 2?
Yeah, actually, there's supposed to be 2 locks. There's 2 locks down there. We split our locks 50-50. So like got 2 on offense, 2 on defense. Yeah. I'll have to see what happened here because I was like winning my one-on-one with Thal for a little while because I had superior force, but then like it went to shit really quick, and I'm not sure how we lost that north pretty badly. So I want to see what happened. So I see your guys' souls coming up from the south. I don't like Par's position right now already, and his lock's already at like half health. He should not be fighting from low ground against souls. So I don't like what he's doing there right now. He should be like backing up all the way to the high ground.
You guys lose a lock really early in the north here. This might be like why you guys start to collapse.
Yeah, we must have.
It happens in the
like,
next minute or so, I think.
It's pretty crucial that like our offense has 1 lock. Like if we get our fast melee in the backfield and have control, we need a lock with it still because like otherwise Dwarf and Thrall can still fuck up our melee, right? So yeah, okay, so Dantski makes a great call to just like peel off and pinch me. And he catches me. I think I had an opportunity to break away, but I just didn't see it in time. Yeah.
I think right now, or like maybe 15 seconds earlier, one of your fell guys that are near you need to group with you, or you need to pull back, one of those 2 things.
Yeah, I tunneled hard on Thal, and Dantski fucked me up pretty good there. But again, LSO and Shad, LSO loses his lock to just like a lone pus, weirdly. And LSO and F are not really pushing. They're only just starting to push now. Even though Dantski like totally abandoned his flank for like a full minute or 2. Like I would have hoped that LSO and F could counter push. You know what I mean? On the other side. So,
yeah, I mean, one either needed to come with you or they needed to push it for sure.
Yeah. And again, I don't think either one of them called out that Dantski was coming for me, so I got blindsided by that. I would have expected one of them to call that out for me because they should have been shadowing that. So,
I mean, I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt that the series was over now, so maybe they weren't as.
Yes, that's what LSO was saying. He was saying is like you started getting a little sloppy the last 2 games, but yeah, who knows? Yeah, so we are already way down in percent and flat, like, well, not flags yet, but like map control wise. Shad kept his lock, or sorry, that's F's lock. Oh, it ends up getting picked off right here. I would have liked to seen, okay, that dud sucks, but you guys pick it up again, and then it probably gets still a good shot off, I'm sure. Yeah, even better shot. Nice. And the lock shot helped a little bit, but that doesn't really matter. The game's kind of already over at this point. Well, no, the percentages are even, up a little bit. That's surprising. Par lost his lock somehow. I don't know. I did not catch that on camera. So Funk's the only one with his lock still alive on our team. And locks are super important on this. So even though we're down only like 7%, like down in flags, down in locks, down in fast melee.
We get VI right here. Once we get VI, it's like a wrap.
Yeah. Because you guys got like a great defense. And yeah, we're pinned at this point too. Like we can't even fight out of this position. So yeah, our Thel guys on our offense really had to keep their locks alive. Losing both those locks is you look at your defense and like nothing can touch it without a lock. You have to have a lock to be able to counter it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they also don't even have like a single goal with this. Like I don't even have to worry about
like pus or anything. Yeah. Adren must have did work with his souls, I guess. Well, he's only got 2 kills so far that I can see, but maybe he's got more damage, or maybe those kills are locks, so he might have did work with them. I definitely think you're right. Like souls, like a small soul squad like that is definitely viable. I would be curious. Ooh, that was a
Did you see that
nasty
shot?
lock shot. Yeah, WWO took out, was that Wings, I think, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, both those doors. That's rough.
Yeah, that's rough. I'm curious to see how this would play out if we did the identical strats like 10 games in a row and see like what the stats would be. Because like the strats aren't super different. And like some of our play was like really sloppy, but I definitely think like your strat is good. It's good. Might even be better. So yeah.
I wish there was more games that could get played. I would want to test out a lot of things, but
Yeah.
limited games. Is there a player that surprised you guys on your team this tournament?
Probably Funk. If you go look at his stats, not he did. I guess this match wasn't great, but his last match was really good. And just like his positioning, like even if his BC stats aren't always stellar, which is fine. Like, everybody has bad games. Like his positioning is always like on fucking point, and he understands a lot of shit. Like we've explained a lot of things to him. I think he's absorbed a ton of it. So yeah, I would say, I think a lot of people would have considered him more like maybe a 2.5 ball player before, but I think everybody's kind of got to give him 3 balls pretty solidly at this point. He's a solid role player. So
I mean, it's insane the difference a player can make in 2-team play if they just understand the plan and do their role, even if they're not
exactly,
great at BC. Like they
exactly.
can become equivalent of a 4-baller who's got tunnel vision.
Yep. Yeah. If you take a guy with like just the bare basic minimum of BC skills, just so that they're not like a complete liability, and you just give them small unit squads and clear instructions and understanding and everything and feedback to continuously improve throughout the tournament, they can turn into like a solid, like you said, 4-ball player with that small squad. Like, yeah, they won't be 4 balls if you give them a bigger squad. That's what kind of separates a true 4-baller. But with a small squad, they can go up 1-on-1 against a 4-baller typically and still be fine, right?
Yeah.
What about for your guys' team?
Mark for sure throughout the whole tournament. Like, I mean, he hasn't played in like 12 years, so I didn't know it. I mean, the reason I brought him on has been asking him every year. I always thought him as a good underrated player that played on worse teams, but I didn't expect him to come back after 12 years and to arguably be like a top 3 player on our team throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah, I would agree. I seen him play, and he was always solid. Yeah, I totally agree. He surprised me as well. I would say maybe F surprised us a little bit, although we watched a couple games where he had some bad games, but I had some bad games too. I mean, in these tough fucking matches, like everybody's gonna have some bad games, right? So, F like I called it at the beginning of the tournament. I just told him straight up, like I was like, I think you got your 5th ball this year, because like he's like doing like 1-on-1s with me in these games, and like his fucking clicking is just outrageously good now. And like he's keeping up with me, and like his plays are always like smart. He's always been a smart player, but like Jesus Christ, yeah, he's stepped up their game pretty good, I would say.
Well, I think one of the most valuable things about F is, like, you think of the 4 or 5-ball player, they usually have a bit of an ego to them.
Yes,
They want the trowel. They want the trowel. They want the fetch. He's willing to do his, whatever you want to call him, 4 or 5-ball role in any role.
Yeah, love those players.
Yeah.
I was always that way too, even though some people might be hard time believing that. But whenever I was like, for example, 2011 Bulls, and I had like Genghis on my team and Kirk, it was like, okay, they're trowing, not me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always happy to like offload the big roles. And yeah, and F's totally that guy for sure. And really, everybody on our team is like that. So it works out great. Like it's hard to deal with players that are difficult in that sense, that they really want this particular role. It's like you need You need people that are going to give up themselves and like what they selfishly want for the greater good of the team, right? It just ends up being a more enjoyable experience for everybody collectively, I would say.
Yeah. All right,
right.
forget on the last one.
Yeah, let's go on to the next one. Last one. All right, so I'll explain what we were going to do here. Again, it's a 3-prong split tro across 2 of those prongs, and then like a merc pack on a solo merc pack that F handles off on as the 3rd prong. So the mid and north for us is going to be like our whole army split evenly, minus the mercs and some pus that F has on the southeast by themselves. So we don't trade. What's really interesting here is that we don't trade for fetch, which is like a really rare instance that you don't want to trade for fetch on a map, even though fetch are almost always overpowered. But whenever I see fetch and morts together, I always give it a very strong look whether I should get fetch or not, because morts can counter the fetch pretty decently. All you need is 2 morts together, and if they stagger their shots, they have enough range that it's going to be very difficult, if not almost impossible, to block both of those shots. You know what I mean? So that was the idea, but why we got no fetch here. And if you look at the rest of the units on the map, there's really just not a lot of other good targets for the fetch to hit. Merc are pretty resistant to the lightning. Stigs are resistant to lightning. Tro are resistant to lightning. There's souls and morts on the map that kind of contain the fetch. And there's even Thrall elites that are, fun fact, Thrall elite are very resistant to spear damage. Or I'm sorry, we're talking about fetch, not spears. Yeah, I confuse that too. Fun fact unrelated to this is that Thrall elite are resistant to soul damage, but they also don't, like, I don't know, they're not like super vulnerable to fetch either, I would say. So, because they move better than regular Thrall, right? So, that was the thinking behind what we got. The morts, they're good against the Stigs. They're good against the Merc. They're good against the Thrall Elite. And there's plenty of them. So there's plenty of like units on the map, like or points on the map to get extra arty, some souls and some arty. Like you can't do a full out melee trade on this, right? So that's how we opted for the arty on our side. But it's still a 3-prong. I was very confident going into this game that we were going to be able to achieve like a more stronger push kind of for map control over the map, given our trade and distributions. And I think that played out for the most part. There was definitely some sloppiness that we'll talk about later, but that was the general plan for us. What about your side?
So yeah, our plan was to do a power in the north / mid with our trow going mid initially, and our soul going there to shadow your trow. And then we were going to have a solo bully pack, which ends up being Ratking in the south to play the flag game essentially on that side of the map. And to do, fetch push with trow pushing your face to clump you up. That was the initial idea. In hindsight, I feel like by far, this is the strat I got wrong. Worse against you guys, because I feel like this is the only game that ends up being a domination.
And do you say that because of the fetch? The fetch didn't do what you thought they would, or what?
Yeah. I mean, we struggled with trial. Like you'll see throughout the game, we literally split the trial 3 ways because we're not being able to do anything with them. But yeah, the fetch players said they couldn't do anything with the fetch either.
Yeah. I agree. The fetch are going to have a hard time being able to do anything. Yep, exactly right. I don't know. It didn't feel like you guys got dominated this game, though, to be honest. Like, I didn't have a great game. Not bad, but not great either. Even though, like, I was the push side for us. Like, I had wide open. I should have been able to push a lot faster and stronger against you guys. We'll see it later, but yeah, I mean, yeah, time-wise, it was dominating, but like BC-wise, I don't think it was that dominating, I'll just say.
BC-wise, it was close, but I feel like you guys won the game time
Yeah.
before the game was over.
Yeah, and I felt that the plan was always like get a dominant map control position, and then you guys would have to force to push into us somewhere. And if you look at these unit sets, you don't want to be the one that has to push into this. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to run into Morts, Souls, like Stigs and Thrall Elite. It's just nasty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and start it. 3, 2, 1, go.
You 3-prong your trail here?
No,
you did it
nope, it's
2
two
ways.
ways.
You did 3.
No,
Okay.
yeah, we did 2 ways. We only ever do as many prongs of Tro as we can support with Artie, and also be able to defend against an all-out rush. So I think you could do 3 prong on this. The only problem is it's hard to get enough souls to cover all 3 prongs. I think you could pull it off still. It's very viable. You could totally do that. In this case, I felt like just doing the Merc flank on one side was strong enough by itself. It's still a pretty strong flank. Mercs are pretty strong on this, right? So.
Oh, you guys sent a lot of frequently south.
Yeah, all of our Mercs. We went all of our Mercs south there. So very strong Merc pack. I really kind of felt like I didn't do a great job leading this offensive flank. Part of the reason was I just wasn't confident in our Mort guys understanding how to like push for the terrain that we needed. We didn't quite get the terrain that we needed. And so we ended up having like go around and taking a longer time, which I wasn't happy about. I'm not sure. I might have made the wrong call about that, to be honest. I might have should have had our Morts push straight through and just get the position quicker.
Yeah, you can tell I'm lost mid right now based on what I'm seeing from you guys. I don't feel like I can do anything even with the 3 trial, and I start splitting the trial here in a second.
Yeah, that's why like you don't want to keep all 3 Tro together because they're just not gonna be able to do anything. Like there's just too many things to defend against them. Souls and Stigs kind of fuck them up. So
Yeah, I'm like running circles right now. This is when I realize okay, a chance needs to happen, and we're just gonna get rolled.
Also, I don't like how you guys kept all that big soul pack all together. I mean, I might have split it up with some other Artie guys or something. I'm not sure, but it's just I almost never give one guy that many souls. So yeah, we're backing up the north side because we kind of like couldn't quite get the terrain we wanted. We were like really close to getting it, but I told the guys to back up. And now I'm telling them to flank wider around to the west so we can get the terrain we want. So that I wasn't super confident in their ability to fight those fetch without the proper terrain. So I didn't want to risk it. If I had the Morts, I probably would have done it, but it was kind of tough and tricky, and I didn't want to risk it. So in the east, F is kind of like he's kind of like harassing the east pretty good. He's got in a sense a stronger force, I would say, probably. Yeah,
I think that's your force for F is right now. Sort of what breaks us down. We need to start reacting to it, and I want to push other places.
Yeah, he ends up getting some good map control on that side. Right now it's 7-6. Like, I'm not sure what you all lost. I guess F might have killed some melee. It looks like, yeah.
Yes, probably.
Yeah, which is not a big deal. Like the percentages are still pretty even, I would say. I'm telling Funk. So go ahead.
It's only missed early in the game. Adrian only got one of his fetch kicked by a trial, so we're down to fetch mid too.
Yeah, which doesn't really matter that much because we don't have any fetch, and like the fetch is not. It's like not going to come down to a fetch battle. So, but like you can see how your fetch just can't push into the Morts. You know what I mean? Like it's just hard for them to deal with it. I'm telling Funk right now to flank wider west so we can push across. I really want to get on your side of the map and I want to set up a Tro Artie push with Funk is what I'm trying to do. So right now I'm tagging some flags, but then I'm going to come back and reset with him and try to get a Tro Artie push going. Right now we got some good map control now developing for us, so now it's 8-5. Still got
I
mid.
did hand off one of Trout to Ratking in the East because I feel like we're pretty
Right.
desperate at this point, so we need to push somewhere.
Yep. I think that's a good call. By the way, that's a good. I think you almost could have sent him 2 Tro, to be honest. Like you almost don't need your Tro almost anywhere else. Your souls should have been shadowing me. By the way, your souls are sorely out of position. They should have been defending against my 2 Tro the whole game.
Yeah.
That's a thing that Solars get wrong all the time. I see them try to arty fight with them, or they're just not in the right spot to defend against the Tro. Their primary job is defending against the Tro. LSO looks like he just takes a bad fight right here. And I was talking to him and I was telling him you don't need to push because I'm pushing and I'm just give me time. But he ends up pushing this and God, would Par shoot those Stigs? Oh my God, you guys had like a bunch of Stigs clumped up mid and none of our Morts hit them. Like it just drives me crazy. Yeah, our mid kind of died pretty badly here. We're actually down. I think we're down a whole Tro at this point. We're down a whole Tro. And in fact, I'm
It's like pretty even BC wise. You just have map control everywhere.
Yeah, but it's down a Tro, and Tro are pretty important. So I would definitely say, I mean, yeah, we're up in percent a little bit. You're right.
Oh, we should be rushing mid right now. Do we rush mid? I can't remember if this happens.
Par didn't stagger his 2 Mort shots, so he's not. Yeah, you guys rush mid and clean it up. Our mid's dead now. Par didn't stagger his 2 Mort shots properly, so he didn't kill the fetch. It ended up dying later anyway to I think Souls or something, or maybe his other Mort got it. But yeah, our mid's dead now. Okay, Par did trade that Mort at the end. That's nice. Even percentages still. We're making headway in the north. I'm trying to set up these Tro arty pushes, but I'm kind of taking some Tro damage in the process. Probably taking too much Tro damage, to be honest. F is still chasing. F is still doing great work. He had a great game this game. He did a lot of work. That's you Troing. You did a really good job Troing against me up in the north. Yeah, I took way too much Tro damage. Funk ends up losing a Mort there, which is really unfortunate because you need 2 Morts to counter the fetch. Oh, I really hate what Shad did there. I mean, he's losing Morts to fetch, and he's not staggering the shots.
I think everything you're saying right now shows how much stronger your strategy was this game, though. Because I'm seeing what you're saying too. Your team's making a ton of horrible mistakes. You guys are still dominating the game.
Yes, correct. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we did not play it well, but we still won. Yeah. Yeah, the way I set up those squads, it just was very strong for map control. Super, super strong for map control. And so it gave us that flag advantage and time advantage. I really don't like what my Mort guys did this game. We talked about it before the match. I was like, you guys have to preserve both shots together and stagger them. Like don't ever shoot one shot at a time near a fetch. Always shoot them in pairs. And I don't think our Morts guys, they had opportunities to kill fetch, and they might have killed 1 or 2 maybe, but they didn't do a very good job, I would just say. You guys won the BC fight, but at this point, we're up in time just enormously, so. Our mid died horribly. You guys were up a Tro. I took too much Tro damage pushing in the north. But again, we just had more map control in the middle for the first half of the game, which gave us time. Particularly what F did in the east, I think, because it took us a while to get around in the west. If we had, I think if we had the northeast start, again, I think the northeast start has an advantage here. Or maybe what I should have done is I think I put my offensive flank on the wrong side. That's actually a note I'm going to make for myself, because if I had put my rush flank on the south side, that terrain would have been a lot easier to push through much quicker. That was a big mistake, actually, that I just made and noticed in the strategy.
Way too rocky.
What's that?
There's way too many rocks in the north that forces you to
that terrain really screwed us up, and I should have thought of that earlier. That's a mistake for sure.
I think the one thing, just looking back on the match as a whole, is with the exception of one game, that Billy the Beast game, I don't know if our souls did anything for us.
Yeah, I would agree. The Belly of Beast was good souls. That was solid. But other than that, we got souls on this. This one, I think it was fine. You guys got souls too. I'm not sure if you got more than us. You might have,
We
but
got 12. Well, I don't know what you got.
it was 10 or 12, so whatever. Similar enough. Your soul guy though, like even if you, I think it was fine to have all the souls on one person, but that person should have been immediately on wherever the most tro were at, which was going to be in the northwest.
Oh, freaking Ephemeral had a massive game. My goodness.
Yeah, I guess that's basically the rest of this is just kind of like more contesting, but the game's kind of already decided. So yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts about this game?
Not really. I just feel like this one showed the most. Like, you get your strategy wrong against a team that gets it right. Like, you are setting yourself up to have to pull some rabbit out of the hat to get a win.
Yeah, by the way, I was really close to picking another. There was 2 other maps I was considering that were similar to this map because I knew this was going to be a really strong one for us because I was fully expecting you to get fetch because everybody gets fetch. I don't know. I was as far as I know, I'm the only one who's really thought of it this way and done trades like this where I don't get the fetch on these like fetch more tro maps. And so I was going to be looking to kind of abuse that dynamic with you on another one. One is not enough. Turned out to be another strong map for us, so we went that route. But yeah, that's just something I hope everybody can kind of like take away from this discussion is like Morts can counter fetch. Like fetch can be countered. You don't always want to max them out. It's a very rare instance, but a unique case nonetheless where that can happen, right? So,
Well, I think that's something that was more unique from this match. I mean, I assume every other Mithril Cup game in the past has fetch on it. Fetch get maxed out is what I remember saying. Like, half the time we could have traded for a fetch, teams didn't in this game. Like, for example, we only got 3 on the Allies game.
oh, that's true.
You guys got 6. We got 0 on the trial map that you picked that you can trade for 9 fetch. You got fetch. Like, there was a lot of different. The biggest differences in the trades were on the fetch maps in the series.
Yeah, that's an interesting point to make. Yeah, you're right. Looking at the stats, Ephemeral had a fantastic game. I mean, man, might have been their best game of the match, and well, it wasn't the game decider. Didn't matter at this point, but still, it's a great game. Adren looked like he had a great game too. I don't remember what he had, but
He had fetch, and I hand off on the trial to him. He's the one who rushed mid with the trial and got a lot of
that's
damage
right.
there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. Yeah, LSO got cleaned up there, unfortunately. Yeah, I was telling LSO, I was like, you don't need to push that. And this is something our team has struggled with, and this is an important concept I think everybody could learn from, is that when you're doing you're setting up pushes, you only want to push one side at a time typically, because typically otherwise your other side is weak. They should be defending. They should be trying to like back up and use terrain to buy themselves some more time and get a defensive position. Like you typically only want to push one side at a time. I see it so many times where teams will push. Sometimes you do want to push all together. That can happen too. But when it kind of, I guess it kind of depends in a sense, but in a lot of cases, it's like, hey, I'll tell LSO, who's usually commanding the other flank, I'll be like, hey, I need you guys to just hold right now to buy me time to get I'm gonna get the position I need in just another minute or two. I just need time. I just need you guys to stay alive. And usually, because what will happen so often is if you don't do that, is I on the offensive side will usually like make some gains. I'm the stronger force, so I usually end up killing something that can give us a percent advantage, but then it gets offset on the other side of the map because our other side died. You know what I mean?
Dude, my biggest pet peeve and myth is both teams start with 100%. The goal is to get like some type of percent advantage somewhere. But if your team gets a BC advantage, so you're up 10%, you should be using that 10% advantage in a certain spot on the map where you get a clear percentage advantage and you just win the game through that advantage, you know? My biggest pet peeve is when you get that advantage as a team, you have this 10% lead, you can use it to win the game type or whatever, and some other player on the map who's in a 50-50 matchup, oh, I'm bored. Oh, I'm a good player. I'm going to go fight it. You freaking throw the fight, and then a game that was going to be won over time slowly, like for sure, is like a 50-50 game, or you lose the game now.
Yeah, it's like you people don't understand, like, hey, why are you taking that one-on-one matchup with even forces that's basically a coin flip when we have a percent advantage and you can just leverage the advantage at the end of the game? All you have to do is like not fight actually and just wait. Just like people don't understand, like you just need to be patient. Just be patient. You don't have to like blow your load like halfway through the game or whatever. Like there's going to be big important fights at the end of the game too, right? Just wait, right? Like everybody's just like wants the excitement right away, right? And they get bored and they just pick a fight just to like stave off the boredom basically, right? And no other good reason.
I will say one thing looking back on this match for my team is looking over all these films now. I don't think I said Dantski's name one time. And like it was a good thing. Like I didn't see him make an obvious mistake this whole match.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
like if I say an MVP to our team for this match, I think it would have to be Dantski. I can't remember a single bad play he made.
That's a good call out. Yeah, you know, he was MVP for me in 2018 too, in our finals then too. So yeah, he always he's a smart player. Like my only criticisms of him as a player is like lack of like melee and throwing. Like he can't handle every role perfectly, but like arty roles, defensive roles, like just making smart plays in general roles, like he's a perfect player for that. So
You got anything else?
No. Just like I was saying in the Discord general chat, like this was by far the best strategies I ever played against in entire history of me playing the game. So super kudos to you. Great strats. Really love it. I hope I wanted to do this analysis with you as well, just so you could like take away even more from it to like add some additional context of like how we think about things from our team's perspective, and because I think you'll absorb it and like improve even more next year. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a fun cast. We'll see what happens next year. I wish there's more competitive matches because when I lose a freaking match like this, like it makes me want to get back at it like right away. But realistically, like, we gotta wait a year to get good matches at this level.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like I think everybody like reaches a point of like they need a break from the game for a while anyway. After I mean, I certainly do. I can't strat for these last two matches. Like those, they take a toll stratting for those matches.
For
it's
sure.
a lot of work. So I can only do it like a couple times a year, and then I'm done. So, but yeah, great match, great series. Look forward to doing it again next year, and I hope we can do maybe more casts like this. Maybe looking at other matches or doing some other stuff, and maybe with LSO again as well. So we'll have to organize something else.
All right, sounds good, man. It was fun.
Yep. All right. Cool. See you, man.
Yep, take it easy.